But like Mike's doing the dinner, she'll be good to go.
All right, welcome to the November 12th meeting of the Conservation Commission at the Bellingham Municipal Center. We are participating with all members except one present, and Pam is on, this is online, so she will participate via Zoom, and thanks for hanging there, Pam. I hope you feel better, and we will do roll call votes for anything that comes up as per open meeting law, since we have a member online. The first item on the agenda for tonight is a continued meeting for an RDA for the MBTA commuter rail right-of-way, which is implementing the renewal of the 5-year vegetative management plan, VMP, along the MBTA commuter rail right-of-way in Bellingham to eliminate, control, and manage the vegetation along the ROW right-of-way. Anna Reed Pascal, Director of Environmental Keolis Commuter Services, is the applicant, and Representative Matt Donovan from Benesh is the representative. And whom do we have representing? I see. Welcome, Matt. Is, just for the record, is Anna going to be participating online?
Not that I know of. She may show up
Okay,
in the audience at some
sure.
point. I did forward her the link, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll represent fine. So it's been quite a few continuances for this particular application, and I know that that's due to a variety of reasons. And you've kept us posted on requests for continuing. Do you want to summarize what you've been gathering for information in some form or another that you provided some additional information, which we had the commission's reference put in the portal for us to review, but can you summarize where you think we're at?
Yeah, so as you said, a number of reasons for continuations. This RDA, we have to bring this RDA to 102 different towns that Keolis runs through. We're now at 95 approvals, which it's just been a lot of different meetings, and this town specifically required a site visit to go check out some of the areas that were close to the resource areas. So I did make some changes to the markings. I took a lot of pictures and submitted them. I had a kind of meeting with the agent and a couple conservation members a couple months ago now. It has been continued to get pushed, but that's just the nature of having to get so many of these done. I could definitely give a briefing because I know it's been a long time since the commission has probably heard. We're required to do these RDAs as part of the CMR 11, which is regulation specific for vegetation management along right-of-ways, and it's required to get these determinations before submitting the 5-year vegetation management plan to Mass Department of Agricultural Resources for approval. We have submitted that, and now it's in the approval process. The vegetation management plan is designed to control vegetation to keep the railroad and operation safe. And there are sensitive areas, regulations to keep the sensitive areas protected throughout the duration of this plan. And these sensitive areas restrictions are described in CMR 11.04. The maps we provide you are mainly made for the chemical portion of the plan, but will often dictate where mechanical methods will be used due to the chemical restrictions. There are many places in Bellingham where there's resource areas on both sides of the track that are really tight, so we cannot use any herbicide. So the only method to control vegetation is with mechanical methods. This is a required method under CMR 11. It's very clear in the regulation. In fact, it's in the scope of the. I can share my screen. Maybe it shows that the sharing is disabled, so I'm not.
1 second.
I just
Oh.
changed. You should be able to share now.
You should be able to share now. Hannah had to get you.
Okay. All right. So the scope of CMR 11 is it's a uniform regulatory process which will minimize the uses and potential impacts of herbicides along the right of way. The specific goals of CMR 11 is to ensure an integrated vegetation management approach is utilized in an effort to reduce the herbicides. Um, and that's right in the very first 11.01, the purpose of this plan. And then there's also the preface to the wetland regulation regulatory revision that states that these regulations presume that the work performed in accordance with the vegetation management plan and yearly operational plan under these regulations will not alter an area subject to protection. Um, and with that being said, we are seeking a positive 2A determination to confirm the maps as well as a negative 2 and 3 determination, which states that this work is being done in an area subject to protection, but it will not alter that area subject to protection. And the only work that will be getting done under this RDA is specific to the vegetation management plan. Any other work beyond that scope will require additional filings as needed. But this is specifically for vegetation management. This is another piece that I shared with Hannah. The the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources publishes this notice every year stating that Keolis vegetation control program, consistent with VMP and MDAR, includes a integrated vegetation management approach where trees and brush control will be limited to manual and or mechanical cutting in sensitive areas and sensitive area buffer zones. So with all that being said, the point of this vegetation management plan is to control vegetation via mechanical and herbicide methods.
Before you
And
go up the page, just, Matt, sorry, I don't interrupt you. Can you scroll down? Because I highlighted a section, if this is the right document, that I wanted to just touch on, probably page 2 or 4, 2 or 3 rather, I think it was a little further down. Whoops, yeah, public review section right there. You back up one or down one there. Yeah, okay. So in the middle section here where it says an announcement, we sent to, in terms of the third paragraph. So as part of the yearly operation plan, I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page with this because it looks like municipalities and officials will have 45 days following the receipt of the yearly operational plan to review the maps containing the document to indicate, and they want us to indicate in Bellingham, the sensitive area is not identifiable for the field. And then submit that to both the applicant and the they need to correct it, and the applicant also copy the maps with these corrections to send to MDAR at the address listed below within the 45-day period. If we don't do that, then the town doesn't do that, because they basically said they're overwhelmed. They can't do this level of detail for sensitive areas for all the 120 or so towns. So they're asking the towns to do that, which we may have that information in hand or not to send along. But if we don't do that within the time period specified below, it says failure by the town to respond within 45 days will automatically be considered by the MDR to indicate agreement by us, the municipal officials, with the sensitive area demarcations as provided by the applicant in their yearly operational plan, which may be fine, they may be accurate, they may be all agreement, but they're asking us to provide that information, which I want to both mention to commission members as well as Hannah as our administrator, whether we are in the midst of gathering that. Do we think that these corrections that you put on here will be suitable to submit as the town is being asked to be done by MDAR? Or what?
I got a couple of comments on just this document itself. So to start, that time period's already lapsed, from what I understand.
From
So
what extent?
the other part of this is I think this document is kind of moot for our purposes because this is strictly for the yearly operational plan for the calendar year of 2025. We're already in November of 2025. I don't believe we're doing much veg work right now. And especially if we still have not given the clearance for them to go do that and obtain that coverage.
And they saw what the towns are trying to do.
Right, so I guess, Matt, for you is, I'm assuming this was meant really to be used last year for 2025. This isn't relevant for the work you're gonna be doing through 2026 and 2028.
correct. This document though has been the same document every year that's published as an environmental monitor notice by MDAR. So in 2026, which will be under the new vegetation management plan that's going to hopefully be approved this year. They'll be publishing this same notice. It was more of to show the stance of the DAR, and how this work takes place. But yeah, this is for a 2025 notice that is done under the previous vegetation management plan that was already approved back in 2020.
So if this is being asked to be approved in 2025, I guess the question that we want to get answered is the 45-day period to respond, for us to respond from the time that, was the YO yearly operational plan also submitted? Because it says the clock starts ticking from the time that we received the YOP. Did we ever receive that?
Right. Right. So that's the other thing. This is every 5 years we submit a vegetation management plan, and it's a 5-year vegetation management plan. Under that and under the CMR 11, we need to submit a yearly operational plan annually every year, which is in conformance with the vegetation management plan. This environmental monitoring notice, it was for a yearly operational plan. What this RDA is for the vegetation management plan. They go hand in hand, but this is for the yearly operational plan, where this RDA we're speaking about is for the vegetation management plan, which is a 5-year plan. As part of that 5-year vegetation management plan, we will be submitting a yearly operational plan at the beginning of every year, which gives a little more detail about the herbicide program and the methods that are used each year. It will always be in conformance with this vegetation management plan that this RDA is for, but we'll include a little more detail with the specific herbicides and the time frame. With that said, the maps, this is, although you do have a chance to review the maps every yearly operational plan, this is really the time that we bring it to the commissions. And like I said, we went back out to make some changes to the maps and make them offer some more protection to the resource areas in this case, as it was pretty close to the tracks where we restricted the spray of herbicides in several different areas in Bellingham. And with that being said, it increases the importance of being able to go out there and control the vegetation via mechanical methods, as that's the only way to control vegetation as it encroaches on the right of way, which there are many pictures showing how tight this right of way is in several areas.
It's wide open until you hit that tree. Or potentially hit that tree. Anyway, okay, so I guess my question about the town being asked by the MD or MDR-AR to identify sensitive areas and confirm that we are comfortable with sensitive areas. It's going to be something that's reviewable for the 2026 YO yearly operational plan, since you're not going to be doing anything work-wise probably between now and the end of the year. You start it up again in spring, you'd be coming back to us with the yearly operational plan. But
Yeah, that'll be in effect every year. We submit via certified mail a notice to you, to your commission, as well as the Board of Health.
I just want to make sure the commission members have a chance to review these sensitive areas that have been expanded, as you said, and gone more mechanical, less, move the chemicals treatments away from the sensitive areas that we thought were close. You guys thought or agreed were close enough to make them mechanical removal. But since that information was only fairly recently provided to us, I don't think that we've had a chance to review it. And I didn't, when I saw the 45 days thing, I was like, okay, same thing as James said, and that's probably expired since we.
Because this
Right.
this document's not relevant. I
Right.
think he was using it as justification or
That's right, okay.
more backup.
Right, knowing that we can review it again in the next year and make comments to be submitted for the sensitive areas if we don't feel the maps are. You got a
So
chance to
my
review them.
concern with that is that, does that mean we can't make no determination on an RDA about the wetland resource boundaries? Maybe just using Mass GIS.
Yeah, well, I'm just not sure that we were it's been so long since that we were concerned about the wetlands boundaries being demarcated correctly. It's more just how close they were to areas that were gonna be chemically treated. But again, that was.
Language makes it pretty clear to me that they say, no, we want the boundaries,
Right.
not just Mass GIS. And if we accepted Mass GIS and it was wrong, then sucks to be us.
Yeah, so what some towns do in that case, because it is the positive 2A is such a binding determination in the language that there is a space under that positive 2A determination for some narrative, and a lot of towns will say that this determination is solely for the purpose of the vegetation management plan and can't be used for any other um, projects by this applicant or any other applicants. And that kind of takes some of the binding language out of it. And I just thought I'd share that with the commission. It's been pretty standard with a lot of the commissions so far. Like I said, we have 95 determinations, all which have approved this work. A lot of them have used that as a tool to kind of make this less binding in that sense. However, this is the only way feasible for the railroad to make these markings in conformance with the CMR 11, and it has been it is actually the DEP has actually suggested that we use these layers as
When I say layers, you mean Mass GIS?
Mass GIS layers, yes, and then we go out into the field to confirm and confirm the markings are in place in conformance with these layers.
But what else would you have suggested?
As long as it's legally viable, I think that's a sound idea.
Well, my concern, it's not from our perspective, like the 5-year determination we're going to make that they requested we make or that we could make would mean that for those 5 years, those wetland boundaries are binding. And although we do get to review the yearly operational plan every calendar year, and we have the chance to comment on those sensitive areas, we've already made the determination those boundaries are those boundaries. So our review is for nothing really,
Unless,
because we've already made the determination that those boundaries are those boundaries.
if we say yes to.
Correct, I'm saying this is.
It could be like, oh, we're gonna use DDT over here in the zone 2, and then we can be like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Okay, well, in order to, if the commission is all on board with understanding what James and Mariana are saying here, if you wish to, knowing that they still have towns to go, and we have now gotten feedback, to move the process along, I would suggest that if a subgroup of commissioners want to actively review in a very short period of time, like the next 2 weeks, potentially put this off for another meeting, continue for another meeting, review those sensitive areas specifically, just see where the boundaries have been marked and added by map. Matt, did you count yourself, you said?
I went out to in the field myself, yes.
Okay, and all those delineated, expanded boundaries are marked on the sets of plans that were submitted to Hannah?
Correct.
Okay, great. So the
Matt,
information
can
is
I ask
available.
you how you delineated those?
We used Mass GIS layers that are labeled here in the
Oh, no, I
key.
meant when you said you went out there in person, like, was this recently? Was it just kind of
This
visual? Like, what was your process for updating these
Yeah, so
maps?
this was done shortly a few weeks after our original meeting. So I think it was back in maybe May or so. And then there was a bunch of continuances and meetings since then. But we go out with these maps, layers in hand, and we there are actually markings directly on the railroad ties themselves, these blue and yellow markings that depict where there is a no spray zone or a 1 year interval, depicted by blue and yellow markings directly on the ties. And these are all in conformance with the CMR 11.04 sensitive area setbacks. You can't spray any herbicides within 10 feet of a resource area. And then anywhere between 10 and 100 feet, you can't spray more than the 1 year interval. And then
So
there are
I'm not
also,
understanding. Are you saying that you went out and you updated the railroad ties, like the blue and yellow demarcation? Or are you saying that you went out and you looked at the GIS map and you looked at the physical wetlands and you said, yes, this appears to be here?
Correct. That was the process. I would take the maps out, um, and in the I think the original submission, this area was all just dark blue. And then these, as you can see, these resource areas are very close to the tracks, and it was close, but in the um, we decided to offer the resource area additional protection as it was right at that 10-foot buffer zone. So we decided to make it all yellow zone, which means there will be no spray to the shoulders. They may spray directly down onto the ties, but with how tight this section is, they will never spray onto the shoulders of of this track where it gets close to the buffer zones of these sensitive areas. Um,
Was
yeah,
that the only
it's
section
not
of
like
the
we're
track
marking. It's
Was that
not
the
like
only
we're
section of the track map that was marked, that section of map, Sean, or yeah, there's no other.
no. So all the changes took place between page 1 and these used to just be blue, I believe, and now they're all yellow. So to I think all the changes are between pages 1 and 5. Yeah,
And the blue, just for the
this was
record,
the end
and just for the
of
record,
where
the blue section is what?
blue section is a one. They can only spray the roadbed program once per year.
And the yellow is mechanical only.
Yellow is, yeah, no spray and mechanical only, as that's the only alternative.
So
And then
you,
there's dark blue.
so you increased your amount of mechanical
Right.
over the length of the railway.
Theoretically, yeah. They do the mechanical as needed. So if they have to do the mechanical, they will. But what it really means is that they can't be doing the herbicide. So yeah, you would think that eventually they'll have to do mechanical to keep up with the encroaching vegetation.
I do have
Matt,
another
can you go to
question as
page-
well. Oh, go ahead,
Pam,
Steve.
go ahead. Go ahead, Pam.
Okay. Um, so something that I'm curious about is I see that this is all listed as management for public transport, and Bellingham is listed under the Franklin branch, but this isn't used as public transport in Bellingham at all.
Does that affect anything? So is there? You're just looking for clarification, Pam?
Yeah. I think that I don't know, I guess I'm thinking about this a little differently than comparing it to all the other towns because is this like for the purpose they are describing, is this right-of-way management for a public utility if it's not a public utility in our town?
I guess this regulations is for rights of way. I guess I don't know where you're seeing the public transportation.
Oh yeah, it was something that you sent us 24 February 2025. It just says, objective VMP, eliminate, control, and manage vegetation along road represents any injury, illness, death, damage to or loss of facilities or infrastructure of a public transportation system.
Yeah. So yeah, like you're right. This is not a public transportation system in this case. It's used for freight, but it is in the interest of managing the right of way in conformance with the rights of way management regulations, CMR 11. Um, I still not. You might have been. Were you reading the application?
Let me see. The specific document I was looking at was a letter, um, dated 24 February 2025 to the
So
commission members.
yeah, that would be the cover letter of the um of the actual RDA application. Yeah, so we still are it is in the interest of protecting the infrastructure and everything, but yeah, you're right. This is not public transportation. In this case, it's freight. There is utilities along it still. But yeah, you're right. It's not for
I know
public
that
transportation.
in past years, many years ago, they talked about expanding the rail line out from Franklin through Bellingham up to maybe Milford eventually, I don't know.
Right.
And how it goes. So it could become public transportation. There even was a stop potentially being talked about right down in the center of town behind the plaza there. But whether that ever proceeds or not, I don't know, maybe this would help cover that by saying it could be potentially public transportation. Okay, I don't know if that clarifies enough for you, Pam.
Yeah, I just think
For now, at
personally,
least.
I feel like feel like I want to trend towards being a little more conservative with the sensitive areas if this isn't something that is of public benefit to the citizens of Bellingham. This is a freight. This is a company shipping freight.
Yeah, I think it still has big time benefits for public infrastructure and just infrastructure in general. But I mean, it is, the whole point, we went out here and we were very conservative in these markings. I would be happy to let the commission take a closer look. We submitted pictures in these maps. We are very open to making any additional changes to make it even more conservative, but if you compare these maps to what were originally submitted, they are way more conservative and productive of these resource areas. But like I said, we are always happy. This is the time to do it. So that's what we're here for, and we're very receptive to whatever changes the commission would like to see.
So Matt, along.
Wait, James, and then,
Oh, sorry.
whatever.
Matt, can you go to file page 7, which is map 1, please?
Yes.
Map 1, so go back.
7 of 17. That's page
It's
7.
file 7 or map 1 and down in the bottom.
Yep. Right here.
No, scroll up. I've got a different.
Looking at different documents.
Oh, yours is just more zoomed out, I think. See that one?
This one came. This is the one in our.
Oh, yeah, Matt, you're looking at one from January. Do you have the one that you submitted in November?
It's attached to the RDA.
Oh, and you're looking at the information. What is your date say? Why they did one?
So you're saying this map doesn't match what the updated, because this is the revised map,
What's the date at the bottom left corner?
is January 1st, 2025.
So Hannah, what's in the portal? It says RDA submission. Is that the most current?
I mean, that one also says January 1st, 2025. And were you guys really working on New Year's Day?
Yeah, so I think this is
Okay,
under the,
Yeah, so submission 2 is at the bottom. I put all of them in here since we hadn't seen stuff for a while, so I just wanted to update, refresh.
Oh,
everything with all the docs. Yeah, sorry.
I should have put
All of them.
a revised date after this 1/1/25 date.
I see the changes, because there was some inconsistencies in the previous one that you seem to have expanded the no spray. Right.
Correct. Yeah, in
Pretty much all the areas.
significant
And
areas.
Go to, I'll still ask the similar question, go to 4,
Page 4.
map 4, there you go.
Yep.
Right. Okay, is the light blue not equally as close as the yellow, or what prompted the transition to a 1-year spray at that point instead of mechanical?
So with yellow,
You're still bordering the wetland.
this
Quite
Charles
close.
River, yeah. For this to be a yellow, and I'd be happy to take a closer look, like I said previously, but that would have to be within 10 feet of the spray pattern, and it is nowhere near that. We could potentially add a yellow to this right side or north side in this section, but the spray, so essentially this is a spray truck right here. This is the only spray that they'll be doing in this area. If this, as you can see, there's a significant buffer between the actual track and the the resource area line here, well beyond the 10 feet. Whereas in these areas, like the the buffer comes directly up to the track. Like that's very close, which
Do you have a sense of how far that other one was? You said very far, but it looks pretty close, and about half of it looks really close, and then where it says CSX transportation it looks much wider.
is
Can you-
further away. Yeah,
Like,
I would say this is like at least probably at least 50 feet, if not like 100 feet.
Closer one.
The closer one.
And
But
what's the CSX be as an example right next to it where it widens out?
maybe this is like 100 feet and this is 50 feet. I can't say for sure. That's I could take a closer I can get into my ArcGIS system and actually pull a measurement.
Yeah, right where.
But I know for a fact in the field, and I probably do have pictures of this that I could find. But this wasn't within the 10 feet, which would require a yellow. However, Keyless maybe it is the outside of a curve, which is a little less important than the inside of a curve to have be treated. We would potentially be okay making this out north side of the track yellow. If that's something the commission wants to see. However, I do know for a fact that's outside the 10 foot.
Okay.
With
That's
so
far.
the spray pattern for
Just what
this
I was
whole
measuring it,
right
so-
for this whole roadway program is restricted to 12 feet from the center line of the track on each side. So they only spray a 24-foot pattern, which extends 12 feet from the center line of the track on each side. So that green line would have to be within basically 20 feet of the center line of track, and it's well beyond that. But if
So Matt, explain how mechanically you're limiting a spray at 12 feet. Because I imagine the vehicle's running down the track and spraying side to side, correct?
right, they can do that with the flip of the switch. They can turn the outsides off, just like the buffer. They can spray directly down onto the track and turn the outside nozzles off, or they can spray.
Okay,
They can
so
turn all
there's-
the nozzles off at once.
So there's a beam, a bar coming off the machine spraying down. You're not spraying horizontally, you're spraying vertically down.
Vertically down, yep, and it has a nozzle, so it does spray. As you
Okay.
can see here, this is the spray pattern on the outside. They can turn just this nozzle off, so it's just treating basically to the edge of the ties.
Are you showing me something?
Yeah, can you see the truck?
No,
Oh, you
no,
might.
no.
Shoot, I need to pull up. Okay, so can you see the truck now?
There you go. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, this is the extent of the roadbed program. Which is this is the
I
center line of
understand.
track. They'll spray 12 feet from the center line. They can turn just this nozzle off or all of the nozzles off with the flip of a switch. If they turn just this outside nozzle off, they'll pretty much just be spraying directly down onto the ties, which is always the most imperative section to keep free
And
of
that switch is located where? In the cab of the truck?
Yeah, the operator has that as he's driving down the track.
Okay.
So it is very controlled.
it
This
one-
is different, and just as you said, you did mention spraying off to the side. There is a later in the year, August, September timeframe, there is a brush program in the areas adjacent to the track. They'll never be doing the brush program, but that's when they spray further off into the distance from the center line of the track, like 20 or 30 feet, to target the brush along the right of way. That never happens in any of the blue or yellow zones. But I just, with you bringing that up, they do have a program like that later in the year. That only happens in the zero restriction areas, in the white zones. I can pull up your map to see if you even have any in your town, but I think for the most part, your town is all blue or yellow.
One quick question, the seeing the truck there and having you said the driver has the controls up front, as Steve had asked, to switch it on and off. Is it automated to where the driver doesn't have to know, oh, I gotta shut it off here and only spray the track, this is a sensitive area? Or does he have a navigator who's looking at a map, sitting next to him, a co-pilot?
Cars are
Ye-
on the.
Well, yeah, but if he's driving along, I'm gonna know whether he has to look for those stakes, and if he misses one, that it continues to spray, or whether does it automatically shut off as it gets close to where it's marked on the rail bed?
I mean, if he.
Yeah, no, so there is an environmental monitor that has these maps on hand at all times.
Driving and he's like.
Right, so the operator is driving and controlling the switches. There is an environmental monitor from the environmental department with these maps on hand at all times that has the maps, has the markings in the field. And just to add to that, the operator has been the same operator for the last at least decade, I believe. So they are very familiar with this territory. But there always will be an environmental monitor, and that is in as part of the regulations.
Okay.
So do you only have one operator operating these vehicles?
There's an operator in the vehicle, and then in the passenger seat, there is an environmental monitor with the maps.
You said it's been the same operator, so you only have one spray
Driver.
truck operator?
It's been the same company, and every time I have been out, because I go out and do just for experience and to kind of know how it works. Every time I've been out, it has been the same operator. But I think they have a few different operators within that company that typically do the commuter rail. It's the same company, I should say. Every time I've been out, it has been the same operator. But I do think they have a few different operators.
Okay, so I need to move this along because we've done quite a bit of time on it. We have a plan potentially offered, which is if some members want to review this and get back to us by the next meeting, that this looks good, so that should answer the commission's concerns about.
So I had a question
Locking it.
about one of the maps. I'm not gonna be able to ask it.
Oh, no, I think if you want to be on this group, that would be, we come back if you review the maps. Just the commission hasn't had much time to do that.
Right.
Want to give us time to do that? Matt's fine with that. Members ask us about the maps, to try to tweak things, see if they don't like something, I have a question, can we go back and look at this, whatever, it seems like we have time to do that, as long as we keep moving things forward. This would be a good way to move the process forward too, as well, and give us a chance to answer the question about locking in the sensitive areas and being stuck there for 5 years, potentially the ability to make suggestions that we could change them down the road, but maybe not having any real power to do that.
You're suggesting we continue again, you mean?
Continuing for another meeting, and with that said, having some members agree to look at this detail, we'll have the time to do so, so that we can get back to Matt and say, okay, everything looks good, we're good with sensitive areas, we can go ahead at that point in time, if we so choose, approve the 5-year RDA for the 5-year vegetative management plan, which would lock in those sensitive areas potentially. So does that sound like a plan?
So I'm happy to volunteer to do that, if Hannah, if you're available. But before I do that, I want to ask Matt a question.
Okay.
Because I don't want to go out there and not understand what I'm looking at. So if you go and you look at map, I think it says sheet 11 of 11, so it's the last picture. You'll see up by the word Hopedale in that image. There is a yellow line that shows on the, I guess it would be the right-hand side of the track, but it doesn't appear to cover the yellow. Am I seeing that incorrectly? What does that mean?
Well, this is farther away, so they might just spray on one side.
Well, that's what,
no spray on
that's what I
one
want
side.
clarification for. I don't want.
Yeah, so in this case, they would be having the left side nozzles shut off, where they wouldn't be applying the herbicides to the left side, where
do you know-
on the
Okay. Do you know why that's the case in that particular
Because the
location?
green line's so close, it's right up against.
because
Yeah.
this green line is a resource area that's close to the tracks.
But you see the Charles underneath it, that's what I was asking.
And
Okay.
but yeah, over the river,
Both.
it's
Mhm.
full yellow.
Both sides, okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else other than Don want to volunteer to look at these things, Steve?
I don't know,
Okay.
as long as it's not during the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether you go out site visits or look at the plans or some combination, yeah, that, well, I'll leave that up to the subgroup to coordinate with Hannah and keep, in touch with each other. But I just want to make sure we at least have a good representation so we can come back if we agree to continue this for another hearing and in 2 weeks and agree. Okay.
And when's our next
December
meeting?
10th.
Yeah, December.
December 10th, yeah, not 2 weeks. I correct myself if we do not have a November 4th meeting because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and town meeting is next week, just to remind people that are in attendance. Okay, so we have a subgroup of at least Steve and Don, and if anybody else wants to join in, that's fine. I'll accept the motion to continue the meeting for the RDA for the MBTA commuter rail right away
So
to
moved.
December, what's it, 11?
December 10th.
10th, December 10th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, Steve and Don, James. Any other comments, questions? Pam, you good? Okay.
I'm good.
I will do roll call. Pam,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Steve, Ariane,
Okay.
Don,
Aye.
Aye.
all, unanimous vote. Thank you very much. So Matt, 2 weeks, we should be getting back to you if you want to look for the agenda. And, hopefully we will be, moving things along. Or at least.
Yeah, definitely
email
reach
Matt
out with
after-
any questions. Oh,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
sounds
you.
good. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good. Thank you, Jeff. Next item on the agenda is continued hearing for notice of intent for Blackstone Street, alteration of bordering vegetated wetland BBW. Its associated 100-foot buffer zone for improvements to the undeveloped section of Blackstone Street, including infrastructure, utilities, and site grading. Louis Petrosi, Wall Street Development, is the applicant. Any reps here tonight that you can identify for the record, Lou, because we don't have anybody on the record as officially being here, but if you could just introduce them.
Just me, right?
Well, you're the applicant, but if you have representatives, we'd like to have that for the record too, just who they are.
Sure. Good evening, Lou Petrosi for Wall Street Development. I have with me tonight Mike Dryden from Allen Engineering and Ryan Racine from Goddard Consulting. As you may recall from the last time we met, Commission had several questions regarding the proposed work on Blackstone Street and the proposed improvements. And I showed the commission that we were working on information, revised plans, and other calculations to address comments from the peer review of Beals and Thomas. So tonight, hopefully these gentlemen will be able to address any of your questions, go over the current design and the related improvements. And so whatever questions you may have, Mike Dryden will probably go over the design. That's currently we filed revised plans with the commission and with the planning board last week. I know that the peer reviewer hasn't had a chance to look at much, but we thought that this would be a good opportunity for the commission to ask any related questions. And
Right. Just for the record, I think that the last response, Hannah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, received, which had comments from Bill Thomas for Beals and Thomas, for our peer reviewers, was dated October 31st. So they have not responded to anything else since then, sorry.
Correct.
Okay, so just for the record, we have a couple weeks where information, as Joseph said, has been provided, but as he also said, the peer reviewer has not necessarily had a chance to even review it thoroughly.
right,
We also
we expect probably at the next meeting that there'll be.
Right, we also
exchange of
received a
information.
proposal, which I don't know if you had forwarded along Bill Thomas's latest proposal for additional second round, okay.
No, because we haven't talked about it
Good, we
yet.
have to go. So one of the things we need to discuss tonight is that we have received, it was in the portal. We received information recently, very recently, which have not yet been shared with the applicant because we need to discuss it as part of our review process here too. A proposal for additional peer review. They have done their initial scope, Bill Thomas, for what was proposed for peer review, but with additional information coming in, additional review will be very likely required by the commission. And if so, they have provided a proposal for a specified amount of additional review that they anticipate with what information they've seen from coming
Well,
forward.
yeah, as long as we obviously, we understand that the Beals and Thomas have to be maintained by the planning board to review stormwater management and under their regulations, so I know the original review by Beals and Thomas incorporated some stormwater comments, so I just wanna try and restrict our conversation tonight primarily to, Concom jurisdiction issue, vernal pool, BBW replication, flow through the culvert and so on and so forth. So, with that, I'll just turn it over to Mike and he can go over on a preliminary basis what the current design is and what the, how we expect, to address the concerns of the commission relative to the vernal pool that's been identified out there on the site. So,
Absolutely. Good evening all again. For the record, Mike Dryden, Senior Project Manager with Allen Engineering. Mr. Chairman, would it be helpful to talk a little bit about the comments, or would you like to just let Beals and Thomas respond?
Well, when you say talk about the comments, you mean in the October letter?
Yeah, the responses that we just provided on October
In
31st.
the October 31st.
Yeah.
Well, I will ask first off the commission members, because
I think what would be helpful for me, and everyone can jump in and say if this would be helpful, but if you could do a review of what the original plan was, what changed in the revised plan and why it changed.
Okay.
Where I sense, the commission think that's a good
Yeah.
starting point. I
Yep.
think that'd be a good
Just
starting
to get
point.
us a big-
Rather than going point by point for all of Dale Thomas's things, I think the backing out the step, what you had originally and then what you've changed, and the important part is why. So if you could summarize that perhaps as initial process, and Hannah has,
Also, just to note, we got it on November 4th, so that's when we had it in hand.
Right.
So it's dated the 31st, but we got it in hand.
Right, of course.
Just, that's the number that I
Yeah.
have on all the
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
updates.
So to answer that question, the design that was initially submitted looks very, very similar to what's before you this evening. The changes, well, let me start with the culvert, I think, because that's probably what's foremost on everybody's mind here, that box culvert that we proposed. We have always, our approach to this design has always been to provide a 2-foot high by 10-foot wide, 4-sided box culvert. And the invert of that culvert was established at the top elevation of the gravel road. We shot elevations on the top of that gravel road. And we shot those elevations where we saw signs of flow and heavy rain events spilling over the roadway. We shot those elevations. We established the invert of that culvert at that very elevation. And
Explain what that means.
so what? Well, let me finish. I think it might become a little clearer. So if this tabletop is the top of the gravel road during a storm event, water's flowing over it. We shot that grade. We established the box culvert at this elevation. That way, the hydrology on the north side of the proposed roadway in the vernal pool area would function exactly as it does under existing condition. It ponds to a level, it spills over the road. The culvert would serve the exact same purpose. That's a very important distinction to make. We didn't want to lower the culvert because we may drain the vernal pool or
Change the hydro.
yeah, exactly, limit how much ponding occurs in that vernal pool. So to us, the very obvious solution is to establish that outlet invert or the invert into the culvert right at the top of the existing gravel road. Again, it will function exactly as it does today. Part B.
Just for, again, the public record, information, people that live in the area, so forth. If it is flooding and overflowing the road, you're laying this potential box culvert on top of it, not digging down to change the hydrology, laying it on top, but it's 10 feet wide. Was that the maximum determination of where the overflow is? Because say it's flowing across the road in heavy storms when the the vernal pool is full, 20 feet wide, but only a couple inches deep of water flowing over before it obviously gets to the other side of the road and
Right.
flows. Is that the same hydrologically as saying, no, we're going 10 feet wide here and ignoring the other 10 feet that might be on, the road that's also flooding?
There's a couple of things at play. That's a good question. So what we witnessed was a very narrow flow path. I went out there several times after very large storm events and it was spilling over the road. I'm gonna guess the maximum width I witnessed was about 4 feet. So we're, much greater than that. But the second very important aspect of the crossing is we're required to meet, the culvert has to pass the 50-year storm. So it's wide enough to cover the existing overflow and it's volumetrically enough to pass the 50-year storm.
So which part of the box culvert, because it's 48 inches tall with a 24-inch mouth. Which part of the box culvert is set at the road?
The invert, which is, if you're familiar with the term invert, it's the inside of the pipe where water actually flows.
The bottom edge of the front
And
edge
that's
of the pipe.
24 inches tall.
Yes, it starts at the existing, the invert is at the top of the gravel road, and then it's 2 feet tall by 10 feet wide.
Right, okay.
So the road is proposed to be built up over this culvert,
Correct.
not dug down under.
That's
Just
where I
again, for
was
the,
headed.
just
Yeah.
again, for the public information and our
Of course.
understanding too, because I want everybody to be clear on what is being proposed, is not misunderstood by people. Okay, thank you. Continue, please.
So what you have, just to finish that point, is here's your culvert at elevation 294, and then you have the retaining wall on either side that's higher than that elevation. So that essentially controls where the water spills, how much water spills through there. And again, you know, I've already said it several times, but that maintains the hydrology, the functionality of the hydrology as it is today. And that wall, by the way, is fairly low on the north side. It's not a very imposing wall. I have the numbers here. It's about 5 feet at its highest point, right at the culvert, and then it quickly diminishes all the way down to a foot or two. The very highest point of the wall is on the opposite side, right here where the grade drops off. That is just under 8 feet, but again, it's just for a very short period.
When you say 8 feet
Right.
vertical height,
Yes.
so, and that's from the ground on the far bottom of the slope, not up from the road up 8 feet. Just again for public.
Yeah, it's from the natural grade to the top of the wall on the outside.
On the north side, about how deep is well, from the starting point of the wall up to the road level, about how much of that 5 feet maximum height is below the roadway and how much is gonna be projected above the roadway?
That's a good question. The culvert's 2 feet high. We have. So I'm gonna guess, I can give you more numbers in the future, but I'm gonna guess it's about 5.5 feet, maybe 6 feet.
Above the roadway on that north side,
So what we have is that culvert is 2 feet
tapering.
tall,
Yeah,
and then we have the thickness of the culvert, and then we have material over that, gravel-based material, and then the roadway. So that's what's sort of driving the height of those retaining.
but you just said it'll be 5 feet above the roadway, and if the wall's only 5 feet tall and you're going down below to get the.
Listing roadway.
Yeah, the
No,
existing roadway.
Well, the new roadway, so maybe I should. phrase
It
that
looks
differently.
like it's at 298, is that what I'm saying?
I'm looking at a small version here, so forgive me. Yeah, more or less 298.
So,
And I could give, what I could give the commission, if it would be helpful, I could give you a more detailed cross-section. If you look at the end of the plan set. On
You
sheet
have one
C10,
detail of the box, but it's,
these are typically not drawn to scale. What I was gonna say is I'm happy to give you a cross-section.
page 11, whoever's controlling the drawing,
C10.
C11.
It's actually C10. That's it right there, yeah. So again, if it would be helpful for the commission to have a 2-scale cross-section there, I'm happy to provide that.
There's a detail of the box culvert.
Oh, the box
how
cover
does it
itself.
the sidewall?
Yeah, that is C11. That's just a simple detail of the dimensions of the box cover,
On the
right there
left,
to the
on the
left.
left.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I was getting my numbers from.
Yeah, so the top of the road is roughly 294, the top of the wall, 299, so we weren't too far off in the numbers we were speculating about.
So, just so if somebody goes down the finished road on the right side, the vernal pool side, how much wall is projecting up above the road that they can see on that side of the road?
Standing on the road or in the vernal?
Standing on the road. If they're
Well,
standing on
the
the road,
wall only, the wall is, it's barely visible from the roadway side. We don't want to build walls any taller than they need to be. So there, for all intents and purposes, the elevation of the road is essentially the top of the wall. And
That's
then
just-
there's guardrails on top of that.
yeah, the guardrails may be required by whatever, the highway regulations and so forth, but my question was whether the retaining wall on that side was just strictly for retaining purposes and soil tension and stabilization of the roadway and so forth, or whether there are any other, consideration factors involved if it was a solid wall to providing protection from things such as future road treatment programs like salting and treatment of roads, given that's the low point, it's gonna ice up as much as any other part of the road, and water flowing down the road that may not get off the road before it freezes up. It's gonna be an area that whoever is responsible for maintaining that road would need to probably have a treatment plan in place, which includes that. And that close to a vernal pool, I don't know that that would be acceptable to have any kind of treatment plan, that chemical treatment plan that would be viable for not negatively impacting the area. I don't know.
Yeah,
one way or the other,
I
but
understand your
that's just-
concern.
That's why I was asking if the wall's projecting up high enough, whether that was expected to do some sort of, but it doesn't sound like it just sounds like it's retention.
Right, what I can tell you is if you look at the roadway cross-section on sheet C10, the grade from the face of that wall, everything is graded into the roadway. And if you'll note here, the low point, typically when you design a crossing, your low point is at the culvert. In this case, because we have the sensitive environmental areas here, the vernal pool, what we have done, and it shows a little bit better if you have plans in front of you on sheet C5. The road slopes continuously along this area. There's no low point. It slopes all the way to this location. This is where the low point is. And the reason for that, again, is to keep all the flow and the outlet outside of the sensitive resource areas and outlet it to the basin outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. So you're correct to say typically at the low point you have catch basins. In this case, we've put that low point much farther away from the resource areas.
What's the chain link fence on the guardrail for?
Typically with a crossing like this, you see it everywhere. You have a significant drop, as I mentioned. So you have a guardrail and for pedestrian purposes, if people are walking down the road, usually you have a chain link fence as well. I have two of those in the subdivision that I live in, and there's both a guardrail and a chain link fence.
Initial questions at this point? Clarification? Okay, so you've talked about what was presented before and what is currently, and I guess the remaining question was, what change, of the changes that you've made or modifications, even though they're very similar, as you said initially, what were the reasons for the changes reflective of comments or other things that you saw?
So one of them I just touched on. Previously, we did have a low point closer to the culvert itself. So I explained that change. We moved the low point away from the resource areas. The other thing that we did, as you can see, this bold line here is the retaining wall on both sides. Previously, we had the roadway more centered, such that we had wetland impact on the north and south side. And because of the comments received from Beals and Thomas, and simply to just provide some more room in here for construction, so we would ensure that we're not gonna impact the vernal pool side. You can see the bend in the road, so we pulled the alignment of the roadway to the south, such that all the impact is on one side now, and there's more room on the north side to construct that wall.
Does that include the note I saw in the Bills Thomas thing, without getting into the details of it, that you, as the applicant, were proposing a reduction in the size of the road in that section from 24 to 22 feet or to 20 feet or something like that, 22 to 20 feet, a couple foot reduction?
I think that was discussed at one of the hearings, and I was not here, but the roadway right now is designed at a consistent 22-foot width.
So that doesn't reflect it, it's just
It
shifting,
doesn't.
it's not narrowing.
Exactly.
Just want to be clear on that point for now.
Yep.
That's enough. Okay, good.
I mean, that's certainly something that could be considered.
If it needs to be, we'll see, yeah, yes, okay. And is that the scope of your need to make the changes, is your, as far as, not the scope, the reasoning for change that?
Yes, those are the two major changes. There's a lot of small technical things in the calculations that we addressed. But the physical changes to the plan, those are the major changes. The vertical and horizontal alignment at that wetland
And
crossing.
just to be clear again for the public record, while you said you moved the low point from where it seems to be now in the road, right at the vernal pool, it seems to be the low point walking along the existing roadway. When the road is redone / improved, it would be raised up so that you could make the low point further away from the vernal pool, closer to Blackstone's, to Matty Way and Blackstone Street, further junction is there.
Correct.
And that's the only way that that could be moved down. So just again, for public information, if you're in a butter or person wondering how that could be done, how can they make move? They're gonna change the grade of the road and put new road, and it's not gonna look like it does now. Okay.
And I will say that, you know, where the road is gonna have curbing. So anything that's in the roadway is gonna stay in the roadway, it's not gonna overflow over the side, so it will get channeled down to the low point where Mike's indicating that we've moved it to, and from that standpoint, it will go through the catch basins and into the detention basin, so. So it's
Yeah,
not
right.
like, it's
Correct.
not like it's today where water can go wherever it wants to go. This will all be contained within the roadway itself.
And as I mentioned previously, the shoulders are sloped toward the roadway as well.
Well, I think in our last meeting, one of the biggest concerns was that the unearthed culvert and its height, and if it was open, it would lower the prevailing upper water height of the vernal pool, and when I went out, it was clear from the staining in the trees, the algae growth on the trees, that that vernal pool stayed at the roadway height for very long periods. So based on this, and I'm saying this so everyone can hear it and you can either agree or disagree with my understanding. As the neighborhood understands that vernal pool to be when it's full now, that level will not change based on this.
That is correct. That is correct. And I do understand that the historic 12-inch pipe was restored. As we have responded to comment number 16 in Beals and Thomas's letter, the applicant has elected not to pursue restoration of that existing culvert. It will be blocked permanently as part of the proposed plan.
When I visited, it became clear that before it was unearthed, that culvert wasn't contributing anything.
I agree.
to that
In my
pool.
opinion, it wasn't.
Hadn't for a long time.
I agree.
It's been blocked for a while.
Yeah.
Is the location of the 10-foot wide box culvert that's being proposed in the exact same location as the 12-inch single RCP culvert that was blocked, found to be blocked?
It's close, but what we did, I'm glad you actually brought that up. It's hard to see here, but let me try to.
This is two separate plans, so I couldn't overlap them.
Yeah, right here, so part of what Beals and Thomas asked us to do was to delineate the stream channel on the south side, and it's right here where my finger is. So what we did was we moved the culvert so it would align with the stream channel. So what happens right now, where that spillover point is, where the culvert is, this sort of highs and lows and undulating topography, and then the stream channel sort of finds its way.
And while you said, it says in the report, there was no observed stream channel, because Bill Thomas asked about that, on the north side where the vernal pool is.
Right.
In fact, the fact that it butts right up against it makes it difficult for there to be a stream channel, not that there couldn't be. But could you identify, you show the box culvert right there, it's visible on the plans to most of the people here.
Yeah.
Where is the RCP pipe compared to that? Because again, I saw a different set of plans, but I couldn't overlap them.
Its invert is right here.
So
It's very close.
few feet to the left.
But since that pipe wasn't functioning, the stream channel really wasn't related to that existing 12-inch culvert. It was more related to where it was spilling over at the low point. So what we thought, rather than have the culvert here, I should have mentioned that earlier, that one of the other changes was this box culvert was a little bit farther to the east, but we slid it over so it aligns with the natural stream channel. Just seemed to make perfect sense to do that.
Now, the riprap apron on the south side doesn't appear to be very long. In that 50-year storm, what kind of flow is gonna go through it? Will it wash out the south side?
Well, there's about a foot elevation change from the invert of the pipe to the natural grade. So we don't really need a very large riprap and we also spread the flow out. I can give you those velocities if you like. I don't have them with me, but I'm happy to give you that information.
Simple question math, but when you showed the cross section, you don't need to go back to it here, but it's a 34-foot long culvert, correct?
Correct.
The roadway is 22 feet. And where's the extra pieces of culvert sticking out on both sides?
Well, you have a curb, which is a foot wide, so there's 2 feet, then you have a roadway shoulder. And then you have the width of the retaining wall, you add all those features up, and that's where you get 34 feet.
Yeah, just want to be clear for the record, somebody else might see that and say 34 feet, 22 feet road, is sticking out 10 feet on either side, or what's going on? Okay. Additional questions, council members, for what we've heard so far? Again, I'm gonna try to keep the scope as both the applicant requested and both for time purposes, and the fact that we do need to get a couple of questions answered, or at least one by the applicant before they, during the section of the hearing, to make sure that we stay focused on that. So additional information you want to provide relating tonight to the, one of the other things, vernal pool and the, you talked about the roadway some, what was the third thing? You just mentioned three things, I think, but.
Riprap, or the,
You just mentioned you want to cover the vernal pool, you keep it to Concom stuff. The vernal pool, the roadway, the drainage into the detention basins. I wanted to make sure that there was another area that you guys want to address in some comments now that you have the opportunity to do so.
well, the only thing I'll just say relative to wetlands, I mean, Brian's been out there, he's the one who flagged the bank, the stream and the resource areas,
So you
so,
proposed the wetlands replication area too that's shown on there?
yeah.
Is that done by, okay, I saw that. So almost 2 to 1, basically 2 to 1, yeah.
It is 2 to 1.
Yeah. And that's to, just again, for the record, provide replication for areas that are impacted within the 100-foot, and I thought there was a small section of 50-foot.
Yes, so I'll outline that for you. The impact, you see the bold line is the retaining wall. Just beyond that, this is the impact area right here.
Okay.
And as I mentioned previously, we shifted the road. When we initially submitted the plans, we had a small impact on this side, as well as an impact here, but we moved it all to one side.
Not being able to read the lines, but you're up there. Could you show us where the 100-foot line is on that side of the road?
This is the 100-foot buffer here.
Okay, and then the 50?
The 50 is right close to the wall.
So basically, the 50-foot buffer zone area is the area that you were replicating, because the 100-foot is well inside it.
Just inside of the 50.
Right, this is.
Yep, exactly.
Just so we're clear, and that's a 2 to 1 replication in the proposed area.
Yeah, the replication I'll outline for you is right here.
There.
We tried to keep that obviously as close to the impact area as possible, as Ryan has designed it.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Okay.
So how did you calculate the size of the box culvert to handle the spillover? Was that just visually, this is how much it spills over the street? Or were you basing it on,
I wish it were that simple.
I'm sure it's all
What we actually have to do is analyze the entire watershed that flows to this area. So that's what we did. We sort of took a much broader look. There's a whole process and a calculation that you go through to determine, it's based on ground cover, intensity of rainfall, and we calculate the volume that needs to be accounted for the 50-year storm. So it's a pretty lengthy calculation. It was included within our drainage report. Beals and Thomas has that report and that calculation as well.
Okay. All right.
I got a question.
Good.
So first of all, thank you. That was a really good explanation of the changes that you made and why. In putting in something as large as that culvert, what does that do to the edge of the vernal pool during construction? Because I'm concerned about the potential of it damaging the vernal pool while you're doing the work that you're proposing.
So as I mentioned previously,
Yeah.
the initial design was a little bit too close, especially that Beals and Thomas had identified a few flags that needed to move. So we just weren't comfortable either with it being that close. So we did bend the road. You can see that the
Yep.
geometry bends. And then the erosion control barrier is this dashed line. So we've created quite a bit of room.
Okay.
We would establish that erosion control barrier by survey and then build a wall inside of that line. So
So you can operate any machinery that's needed to build a retaining wall within, hey, can you give us an idea of one of those jogs in the green, how the closest one is to the actual vernal pool and roadway? How much gap do you have to work within there?
at the closest point, I'm gonna guess you're about 6 to 7 feet. That's at the very closest point, and everywhere else you have much more room.
Okay,
So this is a pretty common thing. When you build a wall, you build it inward. So again, we weren't really comfortable with the new location of the flags. We were too close before. We were essentially 2 feet. That's not enough. So now we have a bit more room.
Thank you.
Well, bit more room is again, a relative term too. It may allow construction to happen up against the road and keep it clear of the markers, which are the green lines for the DVW. Or actually more correctly on this side, it's probably the edges of the vernal pool, correct? The green lines?
That
That's
is,
just
yeah, the
DVW.
green line is.
So 6 to 8 feet, just to be fair for the record, is and well, then very close to a vernal pool to work. It's not 25 feet away or 50 feet, buffer zone kind of areas that many times we talk about when dealing with either vernal pools or BVWs or other areas as far as impact areas. It's a relative term. I understand you're not right in the vernal pool, but you are about as close as you can be without being in the vernal pool, and a vernal pool's protection range is, or protection zone is set in place for good reason, because it's a very sensitive area. So just something to keep in mind. But thank you for clarifying the distances for our record. You're welcome.
While we're talking about that, could we discuss the waiver request actually for our bylaw saying that that's a no disturbance zone?
Could we, what, say it again, Pam? We covered it?
Discuss the waiver request that they asked
Oh.
for,
Well, we haven't
the response.
made a request yet. We're in the process of filing a request for the waiver.
Yeah, I think I saw that one of the notes, and this is and the waiver request is attached on. See that?
Yeah, that was just a minor miscommunication between Lou and myself. I had prepared these responses. And anticipated that waiver request would be ready, but we're just polishing that up now, and we'll follow up very soon. with that.
So, yeah, Pam, I think we'll keep that on hold for, it's definitely valid, very valid question. Probably a very big point of discussion, coming up, but since they haven't submitted officially, we probably premature to discuss it.
Right, and it's not just gonna be a one line, we're requesting a waiver, there's background and information that we'll provide.
I'm
the
sure.
commission.
Okay.
Two questions. First one, I want to pick up on Pam asked about, and you answered more local hydrology. When I went to a site visit, it was raining, and I was quite surprised how much water gets contributed to that area from both Matty Way and Blackstone.
Correct,
The two catch basins on Matty Way catch most of it, but not all of it.
that's correct.
And Blackstone pumps a lot of water down that road.
Yeah.
Did that get rolled into the calculations? And if so, what are you doing with that water?
Absolutely, let me show you here on this plan. So.
Could you turn the plan just a little bit that way? I think we can all see it, but if there's anybody else in the room here, I don't want them straining. You can also look online, that
Sorry
plan is
about that, folks.
on the screen. No problem. I just want to make sure that people who are straining the necks have a chance to see this. Okay, good.
Yeah, because I mean, this is essentially what you have on the screen.
Right, yeah.
So,
Good.
the flow that comes from Matty Way, I got a pointer that's not cooperating with me. The flow that. I was gonna come prepared with a backup.
Pointer.
The flow that comes off of Matty Way, there's a culvert right here. And it's a pretty significant amount of flow. It's from Matty Way, it's from the off-graded areas, lawn areas along Matty Way.
It's shear flow mostly.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
So what it does under existing condition is some of it, a small amount makes its way through this area into the vernal pool, but more so it flows across into this wetland area. So as part of constructing the road, we need to sort of maintain or channel that flow. So what we have done is we've provided a grass swale along this edge, which will intercept that water from the existing culvert and channel it into the resource area.
Okay, so you're gonna increase the flow from what it might naturally be happening now into the vernal pool area.
It might be by a small amount, correct?
Might, small.
We can quantify that,
I
for you.
think
It's just not an easy thing.
I would love to see this quantified, yes.
I respect your
Not easy,
question.
but since we're
Yep.
very concerned about the vernal pool, that's not been made
Well,
clear.
the more water in the vernal pool, the better. I mean.
Not necessarily, I don't know, depends on when it comes and so forth. I'm not a hydrological expert, I'm not a vernal pool expert, but
Still overtopping at the same elevation that it overtops.
What if it overtops your new?
Another important point to make, regarding the flow from that culvert, it's not discharged from catch basins in Matty Way. That if you look on the screen right here, that culvert, it's from lawn areas. It's taking the off-graded areas. So we're not talking about, street runoff.
So let's pick up on your description. So based on my observation in the rain, and it was raining pretty good. The water that comes off of Matty Way and Blackstone does cross to the south and predominantly flow off the south side.
I'm not sure I
have
use
to
the word
imagine
predominantly,
It
but
may contribute to the vernal pool. I couldn't get a sense
Yeah.
of that, but
and that's why I said it was difficult, but what I'm
so-
happy to do, go ahead, sorry.
most of what appeared to be going into the vernal pool, well, I'm guessing, is clean water from the woods. Are you gonna be changing the nature of that if you're putting more water from the street?
Or from the lawn areas.
Yeah, not
because
from
those
the-
could
not
be
from the street.
fertilizer and eutrophication and so forth. and so on.
What I'm happy to do is to take a very close look at that initial section of Blackstone. The problem is, we get a severe rainstorm, it changes. I mean, it's constantly changing. That's why I said earlier, respectfully, it's difficult to quantify. Because
You have two catch basins further down. You talked about how the road's being elevated and you're moving the low point away, and then I thought you said there are catch basins now being added.
right, the
Okay.
catch basins are right here.
So will those take the roadway runoff from Matty Way that's coming down currently?
Yes, they will take the portion, they will take the portion.
Because you have curbing now, as Lou said, that will now channel keep stuff on the road that might have flowed across the road and down into that wetlands area now, because there's nothing but shoulder there. That's now gonna be captured in the roadway.
Captured,
and
treated,
into
and put in the basin.
The stuff that's coming
So
under
the only thing
culvert.
that's really in question is a small amount that, under existing condition, that may flow across unmitigated. We're controlling in a grass swell. But I can take a very close look at that and give you my best estimate of any increase that's being added here. It's very small.
Okay, and I just want to add a couple of things because I don't know, you've probably observed, or maybe you didn't, but before you get to Matty's Way, there's a swale along the frontage of those houses on the right. That swale takes the water underneath Matty's Way through this culvert that Mike is just describing, and it goes and it discharges and has nowhere to go, and essentially ends up in Blackstone
Existing
Street.
box culvert?
No, this is a pipe culvert.
Have you identified it on the curve of the road there? Is it marked somewhere?
Right there.
That the culvert that comes, it collects the right side of Matty Way going up Matty
Yes.
Way.
And-
Left under.
And it connects, it collects off of Blackstone Street. There's a swale along the edge of Blackstone Street, the new, there's a couple of houses that are built there that there's a swale there, so the water doesn't get onto Blackstone Street. That water is collected off of the lawns and it's channeled underneath Matty's Way through this culvert. I think it's like a 12 or 14.
And it just has a hole on the other side the water just comes out of, or is it?
The water just comes out of, there's a head wall there.
Yeah, it's
Comes
just
out of
it's
that.
sort of a makeshift shift culvert.
And.
It's hard to tell how it's even constructed. It's hard to get in there and see it,
Yeah.
but we know it's there.
And there's, I think if you looked at the plans from Matty's Way, originally it was supposed to run down a area that was reserved, but was never constructed as a swale that would go down the edge of Blackstone Street into the wetland area. Of course, when this subdivision was approved, there wasn't a vernal pool there, so, but that area was never cleared of any trees, it was never graded, so that the water just, when it gets to a certain point, just spills over onto Blackstone Street, on the gravel roadway, so, I mean, that still will continue, right? I mean, potentially, if we didn't do this grading, right, along the edge of the road.
Yeah, exactly. So the roadway is a little bit elevated, so we're creating sort of a valley there. So
A valley where you just.
that's the swale that's here. This is a grass swale. And there's a detail.
And you're anticipating that culvert that was spoken about that's coming down from Matty Way, for the swale under the road there, is going to continue to function as it has been, not be improved in any way, just function as it has been, but it will be picked up by that grass swale
Yes,
and therefore be directed towards the vernal pool.
that's correct.
More directly than it is now, because now there is no swale, it's just whatever it is.
Some finds its way to the vernal pool, some doesn't.
So that would be, again, another change to the vernal pool.
So, and I will say that if you look at the plans, there's a strip of land that runs along that's part of the property that's owned by the town.
By the town.
So this is a town, basically, it's a town problem. And so if you want us to do it, happy to do it, but it's on the town's property that we're proposing this swale. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so one thing, if the commission were concerned, and again, we can give you more data, but an easy solution would be to try to pick that up and pipe it into this basin. But as Lou just stated, this is the town-owned property. So
Right.
that culvert discharges onto the town property. There is an opportunity potentially to intercept that flow within Matty Way right of way. I'm suggesting that's probably not worth doing, but I'm happy to provide additional information.
I think
To the
any
committee.
information we get and options would be very helpful.
Okay, we can look at options.
And of course,
Right,
if
question
any
is-
work that we're gonna do on that would require your commission's.
Commission and then, and the
To do
planning
that.
board for the roadway stuff if it's
Right,
relevant.
right.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but having information first, so we know options, then we can discuss it with the commission and the planning board would be helpful.
That's reasonable.
I think any impacts changing from what is currently happening to the vernal pool, whether it's town property, roadway improvements, other, would be very much needed to be gathered sooner than later, so we could assess all the impacts potentially. And as I said, I'm not a vernal pool expert, what will and won't change things, but knowing that we could impact it this way, could impact it that way, it would be helpful about it.
Why the temp cul-de-sac?
Stockpiling and you really.
Is you're making,
For vehicles to turn around, emergency vehicles.
When you have construction vehicles on site, you have, this is a narrow roadway, so we have to have a place for them to park. You have materials being delivered, pipe, concrete, sand, gravel, all these things that need to be in an area that is accessible so that you can run them back and forth.
About how big is that, cul-de-sac, just for reference purposes?
It's about 80 feet, I believe.
Okay, diameter roughly.
That's not a lot of space.
So it's an area for vehicles to turn
And there's
around.
another one up at the far end.
Yeah, the
Right.
problem is if you think about how this roadway is constructed, you really do need an interim construction
Right.
staging area. So what we did was we established it here, and if you look at the contours, we established it on the flattest area possible.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a lot of off-grading susceptible to erosion.
you're still raising the elevation now.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of off-grading there, but if you look at all the surrounding grades, that's really the only opportunity we have to have a temporary staging area. And again, it's all protected with erosion control, straw wattles, silt fence. The grades just off the page. Tough to see, you can see it a
Yeah,
little bit
you're-
better on the
you're-
screen, it gets
that's
very
what-
steep.
25 and the 50 a little bit.
Yeah, yep, correct.
What's final restoration look like for that, when you don't need it for construction access anymore?
It's essentially everything you see inbound here.
Right.
So this material would be
All
removed
gets
and
pulled out,
stabilized.
restored.
Exactly.
And would that be part of the overall variance request? That area as well as the? Well, I guess we may not have enough information about the grass swale in time for the variance request, but as well as the culvert and vernal pool. That's still being worked on, that variance. Or is the laydown area, for lack of a better word, the cul-de-sac, not considered as part of a variance request, even though it's impacting the 25 and 50 foot?
I think you could blur the two. We would certainly like to keep them separate.
So there's another potential variance request for impact by providing that.
No, I guess what I'm saying is if you would like us to sort of package that into a single variance request, we can do
I
that.
mean, the portions that are in the 50 and 25 that would require the variance are also part of the road that,
Right, I'm looking
as
at that.
proposed, is staying.
Right, I'm
So
looking
I
at
don't,
that
I don't
too.
think the cul-de-sac itself needs its own.
Yeah, I don't think a separate one,
Just
just
a-
whether one to reference it all is my question to the commission.
And it's really a temporary disturbance.
Just to capture the overall effect,
Sure.
but we know that it could be referred to as a temporary laydown area and so forth. I'm
Is it
saying, but
temporary, like the top dress is like gravel, or are you expecting to pave it for the time you need
Oh,
it?
no, we wouldn't be paving that, I don't think. I mean, I think this is strictly to get across, and that's really the most complex portion of the road construction. And then once we get past that, there'll probably be some other staging areas further down.
Yep.
But if you've been, you folks have been there, it starts to slope up from that point. And it becomes very difficult to have a staging area on a hill.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point, when we're out of jurisdiction, maybe there'll be a little road that gets cut in into one of the lots, potential lots, or inland a little bit, that can be.
Right, where a house is going to be eventually, that way.
So that could be a leveling area where it just replaces what we're displacing now.
All right, I will pause for a second. Anybody in the room here, give you a brief moment if you are here as an abutter, a neighbor, a concerned citizen on this, looking at this project. We've had a number of hearings, some which we've allowed residents and others to participate and ask questions, and others where for reasons that the commission had to do certain things certain way legally. We didn't entertain questions, and so I just want to open up very briefly again. If you have a directed question for the applicants of the commission about this project and you're here for that reason, this is your opportunity to raise your hand, identify yourself, and ask your question if you have one. Sir.
Can I make a couple comments?
If you could keep them brief and pointed to the.
Very brief.
What was discussed. Thank you.
So what was
Oh,
discussed?
sorry, sir, could you identify yourself for the record, please?
Yeah, Tim
Thank you.
Wyatt, 6 Matty Way.
Great, thank you.
Great. So in regards to this catch basin or culvert or catch basin, whatever they call it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
When it rains, most of the water, I would say 95% of it comes down and goes down the center of the street.
Okay.
It doesn't go into that. I've lived there 23 years. And that, and like, goes to my second comment, 23 years, that vernal pool didn't just magically appear. It's been there since I moved in there 23 years ago.
In some form or another, yeah.
No, it's been there pretty full.
Well, I mean, it may be bigger or smaller, I don't know.
Bigger or smaller, but for the
Right.
most part,
In that area.
when it's full, it's full.
Mhm.
And most years it stays full pretty good through May, June into July, pretty full. Then it kind of comes down as the summer goes on.
Or droughts and so forth.
Yeah, so, but it's usually pretty darn full. So matter of fact, I got,
I walked through Mass Mapper for that area, I think back into the nineties. And that pool is very clearly there.
Sir, also just so you were clear that one of the proposals is to create a grass swale that would take that water, so it wouldn't, at least it potentially wouldn't go across the road. That plus the curbing would be changing what could be happening. But as you said, right now, the current situation is that most of
yeah,
it
most of it just goes right across.
Yeah.
Right down the center, like wherever this comes out, it comes right, and usually goes right down the center. And drains down right where this thing drains usually.
Yeah, we would agree with that.
Right, yeah, that seems to be consistent with what they're saying too. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
absolutely.
good. Having somebody that lives right there for all those years, it's eyes on experience. That's great. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Okay, yes, ma'am. Identify yourself for the record, please.
I'm Lisa Greasy. I'm at 2 Matty Way. I'm like right at that.
You're the other corner house right there?
She's literally at the base.
That's the corner at the
Oh,
base.
that's
Our house right
So
here.
six is one up and you're.
Yeah, I'm-
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Concerned neighbor for me to, like right at the end of that.
Right.
So, and I'm a novice at all of this. It's like kind of new to me, but when they were talking about the road and then the runoff, all I can imagine is it's running to my house. Like, it's running down to that area and collecting.
Okay.
Cause now you're on a pavement, it's gonna just flow, right?
So you're worried about what's coming down Blackstone's, the old Blackstone Street Road, which would be improved towards your house, not Matty Way, just to be clear.
Well, I'm on the corner now.
Well, I know, but Matty Way isn't bothering you now. The roadway does not, there's no plans to change Matty Way's flow except for that potentially that culvert that goes under right by your house in the corner. Right, okay.
I'm happy to address that. if you-
Sure, and I think, although we heard a brief description of it, I think we can have Mike summarize it again to tell you how, what's coming, they proposed to deal with what's coming down Matty Way, which, as you said, will be paved and will be much, more impervious, that has curbs on the sides, but go ahead, Mike.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate question and concern. So I know you're not used to looking at engineering profiles or anything like that, so I'm just gonna sort of describe it in layman's terms. If you see these contours here,
Yeah.
They represent 2-foot elevations, so 302, 300, 298. So everything is sloping away. Everything is sloping away from your property and down where it's captured in catch basins and piped to this basin. So nothing will be directed toward your.
Like this from both angles.
There's typically a crown in the road and then there's curbing. So half of the road drains to one side, half drains to the other. There's catch basins on both sides. Again, it's piped to here. So if you analyze the grades, fortunately for you, your house is elevated quite a bit. So this is the 300 contour, this is the 310 contour. So your home is about 10 feet higher than this area. In addition to this all sloping this way. So
And
it's a legitimate concern, but
just
hopefully that addresses it.
also, she did say she was concerned about what's coming down
Yes.
the Blackstone Street. So you could address how that's now with the repitched
That-
grade.
that's-
From this way.
this-
Yes.
From this way. Yeah,
It should
so
be that
what
way.
happens is this section slopes down to the catch basins. This section slopes down to the catch basins, and it's all piped to the south
So
into the
it's
stormwater
facing-
basin.
And they've engineeringly designed that to capture up to what storm? Down the roadway? Hundreds?
The culvert itself, the culvert
road.
road,
And the catch basins.
the hydraulic system handles the 25-year storm, the culvert handles the 50-year storm in accordance with the regs. And then the overall stormwater management system is designed for the 100-year storm.
So the road in a 100-year storm, which would be a massive storm, but more frequently, unfortunately, with climate change, should be able to handle, with the catch basins, should be able to handle. There may be some temporary flooding if it gets a disaster, but it's designed, I'm just trying to make sure you understand, it's been designed to capture what's coming down the road from the upper developed hill area, Blackstone, as well as from anything down Medway area.
Can I ask a question? Are those calculations based on the NOAA 14 plus?
They are. And more towns are requiring a higher intensity rainfall. That's just the way things are headed. I think we're gonna see even more, higher numbers and greater intensity used.
Okay, if there's nothing else pointed to this, I want to touch base on the Beals and Thomas.
And I just confirm, this should be quick.
Good.
The grass swale on the northern portion of the roadway, you said it's as proposed, it's within the conservation land?
No, no,
Town-
no, so let me just show you here, that the swale is right here, see
Yeah.
these contours? And the property line is right here. So all that work is contained within the right of way.
It's like at the property.
It's close to it, but we would establish erosion control barriers and make sure that no equipment. And that is one of the challenges we face here. The town of Bellingham owns that property on the right-hand side, so we need to be sensitive to that.
It's also Article 97 space.
Yeah, correct. We're aware of that, yeah.
Just wanted to confirm, because I thought Lou said it was on our property. so
I thought so, I thought so too.
No, so I think
I'm glad I asked.
the existing culvert, let's just clarify that. The existing culvert,
Is on.
it dumps water.
So you'd have to cut that back to the edge of the road,
have to take it
basically,
back.
roadway, right of way, which.
Or you just leave that section, so you're not doing any work in the conservation land. If we get to that point, we splice in a manhole here, and we can do that without turning a stone over on the town of Bellingham property.
So what property line is this?
That's the Bellingham, it's a larger property, but it has sort of a dog leg to it here.
That's the town property.
That's the town property. And that line that you just pointed out, is number 2, Matty Way.
I imagine.
Yeah, the north side of the line is her house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
Yep.
south part is your.
Exactly.
I'm
Concom.
hoping that we
Okay.
accepted this land knowing that culvert is there because we do that.
So when you leave Blackstone, you cross town land into conservation land.
On the right, on the north.
On the
I
right.
don't understand the question, sorry.
This is conservation open space, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Town is this little bit here.
No,
No, that's the right of way.
Town is the
So
conservation.
you see the dash line where it's labeled sediment control barrier?
Yeah.
That's right along the property line. So
For
you
the
can see that bold line right there?
Yeah.
The property line is right here, and then it rounds and it goes this way. So all the work that we're proposing is outside of the conservation land.
Unfortunately, in that area, there's not a lot of disruption and we're not proposing deep cuts or fills. It's really pretty straightforward, minor site work.
So the town issue, as the applicants refer to it as the town problem, whatever, is to decide whether we want to have the impact of a grassy swale channeling water which wasn't in any large quantity or directed measure into the vernal pool area via the grassy swale, or whether that is not something that would be good. Again, you're providing more data information, your best analysis will be helpful. So I don't think we need to pursue that anymore because we're going to be getting more information. But yeah, we do need to proceed, but getting the information.
Right.
Okay.
Understood.
Additional questions for conservation members before we
You
get back?
lasered that line too? It wasn't, this isn't just the assessor parcel data?
No, we don't do anything by assessors. It's all based on boundary survey.
So we received a additional proposal, which the applicant has not yet been made aware of because we just received it and we haven't had a chance to discuss it, but from Beals and Thomas for a additional amount of review of additional information, which would be anything that has been submitted since, I assume, the October 31st / November 4th actual receipt. That's handed out of information. And that was provided in the portal just recently for us to bring up and discuss how we feel about it, and then that certainly could be forwarded along as it needs to be to the applicant for their review and response to how they feel about what's being proposed in the scope, the cost, and so forth. Have the members had a chance to look at that, and do you have any comments about that? I think that's the next thing discussed. Diana?
Yeah, the one thing I would say, I think it would be helpful to get the information for the waiver request before proceeding with any additional.
Because that was
review.
part of the scope that
Yeah.
Beals and Thomas identified in the next round that they would want to review, which. So
And I
we,
had like a couple other like small, like just
Go ahead.
some things that I had noted that I could also include like before proceeded with any additional peer review, just so that could be like little things that could be potentially fixed before going forward with peer.
Well,
review.
let me ask,
Like there's just some scale issues.
has the, funds all been expended? Is
I-
that Tell me that all the money has been expended from the original.
from the original, I don't, that,
Yeah, I believe so.
It
Let's
has?
take a look, yeah.
we can ask for an accounting from Beals and Thomas, you know, they certainly justified, I mean, that's a adjusting that's for. But I didn't see them say that in the letter, we've exhausted all the funds, they didn't say that they hadn't, but that just wasn't mentioned.
Didn't they do it?
That was just something I want to clarify. When we started the project and started peer review, they provided a quote for just the first round of review. So that was something that we mentioned like before.
They also
issuing it.
specifically said that they are excluding cost and scope for additional
Correct.
documentation.
Right.
We can certainly ask if it's a reasonable question for the applicant who's paying for it, that all the funds have been expended for the first round, and if that's clear, that's fine. And then their scope for the second round. I think the way, what's your timing now for the waiver request? You said it's in process to be.
Probably by Monday, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, so we have the Beals and Thomas, if they're available, might have time to incorporate, having seen that, more information they see that they're gonna need to review, the better for them to have an accurate scope and not to have more than is necessary for what they propose. And I think that one of the things that they offered to do, as they have in the first round, was to be present at one meeting online or whatever in person to help answer questions that may have come up. But certainly that would be after all the information is reviewed and the responses have been generated and so forth, so that'd become.
I think the technical aspects of the plan are primarily what Beals and Thomas, would be reviewing at this point. I mean, the waiver request is it's a discretionary thing on the part of the commission, and we're gonna put our best argument forward to justify the waiver. I quite honestly I don't see what Beals and Thomas has to do with the waiver.
Well,
It's strictly the commission's.
Give us, if there was gonna be a title for the waiver, what would it be? How would you describe in a sentence or so what the waiver is gonna be asking for?
It's gonna be asking for the pre-existing condition to be improved
The pre-existing conditions of what?
of the roadway. You know, we have a roadway there that's already
So you're
there.
not asking for a variance specifically to construct or improve a roadway immediately adjacent to a vernal pool and.
Well, the waiver, from my understanding is the regulation says that quote unquote, it's a 50-foot no disturb zone from a vernal pool. Well, the presumption of that regulation is that the 50-foot area is not disturbed already. In this particular case, it's already been altered, it's already been disturbed, it's already been pre-constructed. So,
By you,
no, not by me.
more
the
recently
road-
by you,
No,
yes.
no. The roadway itself has been there for 100 and 200 years. It has nothing to do with me. All we did was expose a culvert, which we're not using, but what I'm trying to say is that any buffer zone that you, for any wetland, they're not all the same. Some buffer zones are natural, they've never been touched. Other buffer zones have been altered. In this particular case, that 50-foot from the vernal pool has already been altered. We're gonna improve the condition over what it is today.
Improve is your definition, not
Well,
ours.
again, I don't want.
So you're asking why Beals and Thomas would be relevant
Yeah,
for
why,
this variance?
yeah,
My response would be because we're gonna be asking for the applicant, as I believe we are entitled to do, to prove to our satisfaction that there are not gonna be, there are gonna be no negative impacts to the vernal pool. And it's much closer than 50-foot, it's within 25, but it's within 6 feet. So anyway, that's where we would expect to have expert input. Because we're not qualified to, or I don't think anybody in the commission is gonna claim to be qualified to make that determination, whether there'll be no impacts based on what you're providing as no changes will happen to it.
okay, if you wanna be able to have us review it, it's up to you, but.
Well, and
Quite frankly, it's a discretionary item from the commission's perspective. If you think you like the condition that's there today with the gravel road and the silt and all the other stuff going into the vernal pool, fine. We get other options, but if you think that we can improve the situation by doing what we're doing vis-a-vis the stormwater management and taking silt and other things away from the vernal pool that you think are, that's what we're gonna be, that's what this whole proposal is about. So if you like what's there today, let's keep it. We'll put the gravel road, I mean, I don't have to build a roadway, they'll just drive right over it. You know, I just keep operating on the roadway. It's not a big deal. You folks,
It's not a legitimate solution for you.
maybe it isn't, but I have access from the other way. So I have options that we can do. We're trying to take an existing condition that we know is not very helpful to your vernal pool and your resource areas. We think we can improve that.
And I'm stating that you are required to prove that. You're not, like you say you can prove it. You have to prove to us that you.
Of course.
Okay, so that's where Beal and Thomas's second review potentially could take place. So we'll provide that information for what the scope is. And I think we're gonna wait to get the variance for us first. And so any other information you want to provide for Beal and Thomas to potentially consider in a second review of information, that'd be better to get it all together as soon as you can.
So let me ask a question. So we're gonna continue this meeting until your next meeting in December.
If you have this information all available for us
So-
quickly, yeah. Sure.
So between now and then, forget about the waiver request. Between now and then, is anyone gonna be reviewing the information that we submitted on November 4th that we discussed here tonight? Is anyone gonna review that? We presented responses to comments. We provided a new.
Commission members will, yes. Beal and Thomas, I don't know. To have them review if it's not in their scope, no, because we haven't approved additional funds for it.
Well, let's get to it right now. Forget about the waiver. If we need to come back for another meeting, we'll come back for another meeting. Well, I don't understand.
Their
why you're holding up.
proposal includes reviewing variance requests, I believe, Anna, right? Wasn't that?
Not specifically, I just was recommending that we wait for all of the potential information to proceed in a more
No,
compact manner
that-
rather than
Absolutely.
drawing it out.
You asked us to submit information so that the peer reviewer could review it. We go ahead and we submit the information and now you won't review it. It has nothing to do with the waiver.
Well.
You
the waiver
didn't
is
submit
the
all the
information.
information, Lou.
Oh my
The
God.
waiver is information.
Do you wanna pay
Stop it.
more for peer review or less? Cause that's the way you pay.
It sounds clear the applicant wants
What
to.
happens to phase 3? Suppose there's another,
There shouldn't be one, cause you should hopefully meet all the performance standards, best of your ability.
listen, We reviewed the information. We presented the information with the comments to the initial report provided by Beals. Now, you're telling me that after we spend all this time and effort to respond to their comments, you're not gonna review it?
No, we didn't say that.
No, but what are you saying?
I'm saying,
Anna is saying
we have a
that-
proposal from Beal and Thomas we just recently received.
Okay,
Commission is discussing that tonight. If you are willing to pay that amount for the scope that's described, we can proceed.
Hannah has had it today. I was in her office, never gave it to me.
Well,
What is
commission-
wrong with this
the-
process?
The commission needs to discuss it too, Lou,
Okay,
before we decide to even present it to you as the applicant. If it doesn't seem reasonable to us, we wouldn't pass it along to you as the applicant. We just received it. So we are proceeding, but we want to make sure you're involved in it. So
Okay,
rather than you
appreciate
being blindsided with, I didn't expect to get another proposal, and this is way too much money, and why did we have to wait 2 weeks? We're bringing it up right now. So this is as timely as you're gonna get it.
Okay, how much is it?
You have the document, I don't have it right in hand. I did look at it, but I didn't. Did the commission members also see this, but, okay, just want to clear everybody's. Pam, you saw it online? I mean, not online, but Pam online.
Yes,
you
I
saw
did see it.
Okay,
Yep.
great. All right. Let's give Hannah a second to call it up. I believe the dollar amount was 6,500. The scope is, Hannah's calling up the scope now, so you can see what the scope is involved with that.
Why doesn't the commission just vote it? And if I bring in the check for $6,500 or whatever it is,
You'd want to have us approve something that you haven't even seen yet?
at this point,
It's
I'm more interested
I'm just asking a
in
question.
I'm more interested in making efficient use of the time. We did our job. Let the peer reviewer do their job.
And I'm reflecting your comments that have been made about peer reviewers over the past few years, which is you often are questioning what you're getting for the money.
Right.
And so you haven't even had a chance to see what that scope is, and you want us to, this is a big change for you. I'm just making sure, for the record, you want us to approve the peer review request without having seen it yourself, even though you're paying
You
the bill.
approve it, it's up to me to say whether or not I'll pay the money. If I pay the money, if I show up with a check for $6,500 after I see the peer review proposal, then we go. But, I mean, we're wasting a lot of time here.
We realize that. We're sitting here. Yes, go ahead.
And respectfully, Luke, that's why we just got it today. There was no time for the commission to even review
I
it.
understand.
Like,
I'm
why would-
not penalizing the commission.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but you
saying, like, why would
criticized
you
her.
want
With all
them
due
to
respect,
continue
You
to?
criticized her for not handing it to you today. Let's keep it civil, let's be calm, and let's process this as efficiently we can for both parties.
Okay, agree.
Thank you.
But once something comes into the town hall, it's a public record. So regardless of whether or not the commission has to look at it first or not, it should be shared with the applicant out of full transparency.
Instantaneously, so should you be copied on any exchange that we have? No, the
As a
process
courtesy.
is she takes a look at it, she reviews it, she discusses it quickly with us, and then we give it to you. You're making a big deal over something that just happened within hours.
No, I'm not making a big deal. I'm just saying, the commission vote. What kind
Let
of
me ask
control do I have over the scope?
Let me, well, you've had input in the past, whether we've had control is no question. Anybody on the commission have any questions about the proposal as you saw it?
No.
Okay, Pam, just make sure you're.
What was the question, Mr. Chair?
Do you have any questions about the proposal of the scope for the second round of review by Beal and Thomas? That is in the board?
Just one, I want to understand that, so. They made comments. And additional information was presented by the applicant relative to stormwater review. As a byproduct of those comments, correct? That's what 1.1 says.
You're looking at them now, so go ahead.
Mhm.
Wait, what?
Under the scope of
Review
services,
materials.
No, that's saying the planning board is reviewing that, not included in this scope of services.
proposal for peer review services. And down the scope of services, review
Read that last sentence. And is not included herein.
being addressed pursuant to our review services for the planning board and not included.
So they're distinguishing between planning board stuff and.
Yeah.
Concom stuff, which is good. That's what we want.
They are their peer review for both, but they're
Right.
saying we're keeping the WPA stuff under us, stormwater under planning.
Right.
So what else could be on this proposal other than?
Well, they're just looking at, I don't have the document in front of me. I did read it, but this earlier today, but I didn't print it, so I'll get the copy. So I'm giving them a chance just to make sure that they understand the scope and don't have any other questions to be cleared up with before we vote on it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd also like to, I'm confused. So would you prefer to have peer review initiated before something was even handed in?
No, all I'm saying is that they made comments. We responded to the comments, so they had to, whatever subsequent peer review proposal was submitted, had to contemplate that they would be reviewing the actual plans and comments that addressed their initial report. How,
Yeah, that's
what it says. am I asking the wrong question or what?
No, that's,
I mean, that's what I would
they knew,
anticipate.
they knew additional information would be coming in.
Exactly, and they
And
knew
they
what it would be,
gave us
so
a
they have
proposal.
that information, so.
Right, so they said, okay, we gave our first round of responses, November 4th is when we got that information. They may have some not responses, additional comments to your responses to their proposal, which is normal process.
Right.
In addition, they anticipated additional information will be being provided either via the first round of stuff, which was being asked for, which you did provide and make notes of and respond to, which they would then double check, say, yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Right.
As well as additional information coming in, potentially a variance request, other things. And that information is what is in the proposal for this second round of scope.
Yeah, I would anticipate they may have more comments as a result of reviewing this, so.
Be surprised, I would kind of hope they would do their job, okay.
Reading
So,
the
any other-
review, reading the scope, are we sure that the waiver request would be included in the scope? I think it seems like it would be
No, it's not
specifically
going to, no,
disincluded.
Pam, we're actually saying it's not gonna be, because we have not received that
Okay.
information. I think that Beals and Thomas was smart enough or heard something on other comments, whatever, of the project that they anticipated a variance request might be coming of some sort. And so they were
Proactive.
proactively, potentially going to allow that, but that's not included, or,
I'm saying it's not, they don't lay out specifically, yes, we are including a
Just
review
a
of a waiver request. They're just reviewing
supplemental, because they didn't know
materials, so
exactly
don't
how
have
it would be coming from.
the supplemental materials associated with that waiver request. If they initiate peer review right now, and then they get a waiver request information in,
Yeah, so
it just doesn't condense the review and it just makes it take
And
longer.
it will be an additional fee if it's not included in this original
That's my
scope.
point, like,
So that we just want to make sure the applicant who's paying it for us understands that if we vote on this now and this scope and it doesn't include a peer review or a variance
As the
request
scope is written, it sounds like whatever material we provide them is included in this scope.
up to this point.
Right.
But if something comes in 2 weeks after they're provided,
We could
a peer
approve
review.
it now and then say we'll have it for you in 2 weeks.
All the materials.
Well,
Yeah.
We,
Like, we'll approve it now as a peer review and then be like, yeah, well, Lou will get that for you in 2 weeks and then they could start.
I don't think he wants to wait 2 weeks. He wants us to
Well,
have,
he needs to have the stuff done.
well, he's gonna have his waiver request by Monday or Tuesday, right? So.
Sorry, Hannah, go first.
yeah, just, so that was kind of my point, like, if it was approved, it would just be on the understanding that those materials would be provided and peer review wouldn't commence until after they received that additional supplemental.
all I would like, Mr. Chairman, is for Beals and Thomas to review the information that we've submitted and the response to their comments that they prepared
to date,
to date.
not worry about variance report. So
Okay?
he's
That's all
willing
we
to
want.
pay for additional variance if that's not included in the scope by Beal and Thomas now. Since it's not specifically called as a variance report being done, supplemental information would be at the applicant's request. Only what has been submitted to date. Anything that comes in after this, Monday, next week, 2 weeks from now, will be reviewed additional.
That's if we deem it necessary to have the waiver request reviewed.
Sure,
by
sure. I mean, they can,
Bills and Thomas, which we may not.
right.
And keep in mind that just because they estimate $6,500 doesn't mean that they have to spend the whole $6,500, okay?
It's 59 actually, sorry.
Right. So,
5,900. So, well, $1,000 here, like, come on, so was it up to, or how was it phrased? Again, I don't have it right in front of me, but there's something about
It's an
the,
estimate and they have a fee schedule.
Right.
And then depending on how many hours a certain person
Right,
works, they charge hourly based on.
I thought that there was some comment or a line in there, which was something along the lines of, if we need to spend more, we would come back to you for sure before we do anything. That's standard, but I thought there was some other line in there and I may have misremembered.
If additional services be required that will exceed the estimated budget, we will inform you in advance and provide a supplemental estimate.
Was there anything on the flip side of that, that if we don't need to spend as much, if this is an estimate and therefore it could be less? I don't remember seeing that, but I don't remember not seeing it, so I just.
Usually it is.
So that's why I wanted to ask if it's there or not. I'm not looking at it, so again, somebody was looking at it,
Well,
just double check.
it's only being billed on time and materials, so they only get paid from us once Lou cuts the check for what they've actually done. They don't just get a blank, like a $5,900 check.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so having heard all that, having heard the applicant's request to vote on the Beals and Thomas proposal for this additional work, so that they can begin reviewing all the information that's been provided by the applicant to date as soon as possible, since we give them the go-ahead to do that. They will not wait for a variance report or any other information to come in. They will start the review process to expedite things so that in 2 weeks, there will be some sort of report back from Beal and Thomas. We will ask them if that's doable too, and certainly communicate to the applicant if they're swamped and they can't meet it, because we don't want to set this up
A
for.
month away.
Right, we don't want to, they've been very responsive so far, and I think the timing has been very good so far, so we anticipate that this is a priority project for them. Any other questions on this?
You set the time frame for them to try to get a report back to us a week before the next hearing, as opposed to like
Yeah.
for the hearing.
Yeah,
So they have a
it'd be
chance
nice to have everybody get that information soon. Yeah, okay.
So do we need a motion?
Yes, because we're voting to, I think we voted on the previous first round of peer reviews. Yeah, so we're voting to approve the proposed, well, somebody can make a motion.
Next sentence.
Think what?
I'll move to accept the proposal from Beals and Thomas,
Do we have a date?
I'll
Date it
second.
does, just off the record,
November 11th, 2020.
November 11th, thank you.
Okay, but I'll second it.
All right. And the other comments, questions, Pam, anybody?
Nope.
Okay, Pam, vote, please.
Aye.
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 All right. Steve? All right. James?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous vote. Okay, so we are giving their peer reviewer the information. We'll get you a copy of the proposal the next day.
So we can continue.
And we will now vote to continue to the next meeting. Bob, Santa, yeah.
Is there any additional talk you wanted to do about the enforcement order, or?
Yes, we should cover that before the applicant leaves the room, just so that they have heard whatever we have discussed, but let's decide whether we want to continue this hearing, I think, just to make sure we don't forget to.
Well, I mean, like, cause you can speak about it in.
While the
like,
hearing's open.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, that may make more sense. Okay, so in the portal or in the email that Hannah provided to us about the comments from town council and the enforcement order that is currently in place and any other items that were covered in that email. The question I have for the commission is, what do you want to do? There were a couple of options provided by Hannah and town council for the existing enforcement order and action or non-action on it.
I am of the opinion that we should continue with the existing enforcement order and take action on it. We have not seen any plans, heard any response.
For replication in particular,
Yes,
restoration.
restoration.
Okay, which was required as part of the enforcement order. Okay, that's
Required as of last meeting, so.
Don, anybody? Okay, I'll give you a second to
Yeah.
double check it, because we just did get the feedback from that website.
So this is a proposal to review the restoration plan.
Which has not been
Yeah,
provided.
I realize that.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I really-
Email with it in Hannah.
Didn't see it.
I'm not sure. It's more just related to how you would like to proceed, or if you have any questions to ask Lou while he's here about the restoration plan, or
I
Let me ask-
actually do have a question
Go ahead, James.
about the existing culvert. So you put was it like a sheet board?
But we blocked it off.
Right.
Now, as I hear you, the discussion about here, restoration, so it doesn't make sense to me that you guys are so concerned about altering the buffer zone of the vernal pool that you want me to go in there with another piece of equipment and fill in what has been excavated out so that it can erode into the vernal pool. Is that what you guys want me to
Well,
do?
so my-
Cause I'm gonna, if you want me to restore it, we're gonna restore it to its original condition, which is a roadway, gravel roadway. The culvert is about 10 feet into the right of way. As I tried to explain to Hannah earlier, that we blocked it off so that there's no flow that will occur during the pendency of this proceedings with the improvements. If there seems to be some misconception that we can just take a couple of shovels of dirt and fill it in.
Going into the
You folks have been
pool
there.
area with another machine a second time after not being told about it the first time would probably not be what the commission would be looking for as part of my grade.
I
question
agree,
is
so-
more about the long, because this is a nuanced thing. There's a proposal for a long-term solution that's not, if they're separate, but they're connected. So my question is, because the box culvert that's proposed is not where that culvert is currently,
Yeah.
is the culvert that's there currently remaining,
Well,
or is it being removed?
more than likely, I think Mike and I talked about this earlier about, there's gonna be a lot of work there. It'll probably be removed because we got water, we got other utilities going down there, and so it's gonna be in the way.
Right.
So for the time being, the only issue related to that culvert is whether or not there's any flow that goes through there. We've eliminated that possibility. So restoring it, as you folks are contemplating, would require me to go in there with a load of material, dump it, have a machine, and then grade it from the street, not go into the vernal pool, but from the surface of the roadway and grade it. Put some topsoil on it like it was before,
Yeah.
and then wait, what we would do.
The material you took out to expose it, where'd it go?
We just graded it along the roadway. It was just gravel that was excavated from the where to expose the culvert. So we didn't have any place to put it, so we just used it, we just graded it along the roadway, which is the easiest way to dispose of it rather
The
than
hole
leave it.
that filled in the top of the road, I haven't been out
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
so-
no, I think that's.
Hannah, do you have the pictures I took?
I
Can you go
I'll
to
pull them up.
image 1909? It shows it pretty good.
How long ago was that picture taken? Oh, how long ago was the picture taken? Sorry, no.
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, thought you went recently.
It shows what Lou did. 1909, and it shows how much he has to fill back in.
I also think it's worth it to look at the picture that Hannah emailed us, because I wouldn't say that board placed there is covering that or stopping flow fully at
I
all.
agree. Well, I sent, because Hannah and I talked about it, she said, please block it off. So I sent somebody out there to do it by hand. And now I'm getting penalized for doing something that you asked me to do.
If it was done right, but it wouldn't be penalized. But Hannah,
I'd like to clarify.
It doesn't,
It's about filling it in. I did not say go in there and put a board there and
The
then
difference-
put a couple
the
shovels.
difference doesn't make it whether it was
We
a
asked
steel
for restoration.
or.
Maybe a couple.
You
if
could-
if it's not working, it's not working. The
Oh,
question is whether it's working or not. So
Let's look at the
if
images.
the picture show.
It
Oh,
says it was
so let me-
deleted from your Dropbox, so I
So-
don't have.
Oh, you didn't download?
No, I just have the Dropbox.
So
My
can you give him sharing access?
my concern is that essentially you dug a pit you dug a test pit, it's still a pit. It's unstabilized soil that's within feet of a vernal pool.
Well, I don't know if you'd call it unstable, but
It's on a slope and there's no vegetative cover. It's loose soil, like it's
we
gonna
have a-
go somewhere.
we have erosion control there that's pretty well organized.
It's just a straw wall. That's not stopping that. So like my concern would be to like regrade it as it was and at least put like some sort of vegetative cover or straw.
Given this
like,
time of year, you might have to do jute matting or something, because I don't think anything's
Well,
gonna grow.
and knowing that, like I said, it's nuanced and this is potentially a temporary solution to the overall project. I think that's fair, just to stabilize it.
Understood. All I'm saying is that we had the conversation. I sent somebody out there with a shovel to block it off so that there would be no flow. It's, as you probably know, there's, like you say, there's a big depression there that needs to be filled in. Well, we need to bring material in there to do that. So you want that? Happy to do it.
Yeah, as long as it's done correctly and you stabilize it once you put the topsoil on, I think that's all we ask for.
Even though.
And,
We want I would like a restoration plan at this point. This did
I
not
don't-
follow the laws in Bellingham. We issued an enforcement order. I think we need to continue along the path.
Excuse me, I have the photos of the pre-existing condition. I'll bring it back to the pre-existing condition, okay?
It was as
am
of
for it.
last meeting that you were asked to submit a restoration plan. You're not taking it seriously. There is no restoration plan.
Well, that's your opinion.
Well,
That's
you
a
haven't provided
fact.
plan, that's a fact. Go ahead, Hannah.
Also, just respectfully, what we spoke about was, you mentioned providing potentially not like an engineered plan, but providing some sort of write-up about how the area would be restored, which is what we were asking for, just to get everybody on the same page about what you're proposing and how you're proposing to do it.
Well, honestly speaking, you never gave me the revised enforcement order for several weeks after that was voted, and then you weren't really very clear about what you were expecting a restoration plan to consist of.
Do you think it was that?
So if that's, right now, you have no threat of water going through that culvert. I don't understand.
Are we
You wanna
looking at
fill-
the same hole?
Yeah, we're looking at the same hole. There's no threat of water going through
So
that.
you're saying that board is right up tight against whatever,
Yeah, it
Is
is.
Is there a
culvert
gap
there.
between
It
the
is.
top of the sheet
No.
board and the?
If you want me to fill it in, it's like, it's probably 2 or 3 feet deep there. You want me to bring in a load of material, gravel or whatever, and fill it in and slope it to the vernal pool, the boundary of the vernal pool or the edge of the wetland flag. Happy to do it. I wouldn't advocate.
That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want a restoration plan. I don't want you to just say, I'm gonna bring in gravel, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put up a board.
Well, that's what Hannah was telling me, provide a
I
narrative.
don't believe that's what Hannah was telling you. She told you to
All right,
provide a
then-
narrative because it's a restoration
Pam,
plan.
Why
Pam, you'll
don't you
need to
come to the
be,
meetings instead of hiding behind that little icon up there?
excuse me, that's extremely
That's
rude.
out of line.
Yeah.
Please apologize.
Not apologizing for that.
That was,
I think we're done.
Under the open meeting law, you're supposed to be visible on the thing. You're not supposed to be hiding behind
I don't know that. you
Lou,
have-
that's not in the open meeting law.
It is.
All right, well,
It's not.
your comment is still way out of line, and
Fine, thank you.
I'm not applauding you, I'm criticizing you.
Mr. Chair, I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
applicant needs to provide a restoration plan also detailing the hole that's there with dimensions from edge to edge of what it is, so we can review it.
Or what would, what was it, what
Holes removed,
oh,
The picture that.
the contours of what.
Yeah, it's gotta be 6 feet across. Maybe 6 by 8 feet, the hole that he dug to get down to the pipe. And to his point, to get it back to existing, it's gonna be a few yards of material. That he's gotta truck in.
Just factor in 6 by 8 or whatever it is.
all right, so
6 by 8 by probably
3,
3.
yeah. I agree.
to be clear on this, we have one commission member who has pointedly asked for a restoration plan.
And I'm supporting it.
And so we need to be clear for the applicant's response that it's done right and quickly and moves us along. What exactly you were looking for, a narrative, some sort of description of what exactly is gonna be done both Pam and Steve, chime in here, please, because we want to make sure that both Hannah and the applicant understand what it is we're asking for a restoration plan. That's a very vague term, and I want to get it clarified to satisfy the commission members, and so the applicant can respond and do it as we're asking. So, spell it out.
Can we pause there for half a second?
Sure.
Let's assume the Blackstone Street project didn't exist.
Mhm.
And this was just this. What the commission would be requiring would be restoration to pre-existing conditions.
Right.
I think that's our best course of action. It's our easiest to prove was done correctly. And it can get done immediately, right? Like there's no,
From what I'm hearing, you're not gonna make a decision until your next meeting, so I think the whole discussion is pointless.
Decision about what?
Restoration plan, you're
Oh,
gonna review it?
It might be able to be spelled out clear enough right now.
I think in the interest of, this is currently an open violation that is not stabilized sufficiently, in my opinion.
I agree.
We should give the applicant the guidance that it should be restored to pre-existing conditions,
And I'm just saying,
knowing that potentially it's gonna change in a non-temporary way.
we don't know that for sure, but
Right,
at
for
least to get
now.
it back to where it should be.
Right.
So what I'm just looking for is spelling out as much detail as we need to make sure that it will get done right. And that we don't have to,
Pre-existing conditions,
so,
Flat out.
minus the tires.
so Pam, you're hearing this. What we're looking to state at this point in time for the applicant, satisfy that condition of the enforcement order is to restore the area to pre-existing conditions. And
Mhm.
involving putting in fill and or some sort of, well, you have specified
I
something.
mean, it's gonna be, clean fill, seed
And-
mix and stabilization, either it be blown in straw, erosion blanket, silt fence on the base, like whatever would stabilize that area. I would probably propose blown in straw with a seed mix that's underneath it, laying on top of it. I mean, most of that seed's gonna lay dormant at this point, but at least it'll be stabilized for the winter, and then when the spring comes around.
Pull off the
But
erosion
this
from
is,
the
this
base.
is hypothetically temporary stabilization.
Hypothetically, but we can't, we don't know. The
Right.
roadway plan
But
could
that-
go away.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why if this project, if hypothetically, the applicant withdraws his application and the project doesn't exist anymore, at least this is now in the condition it was in before this ever happened. Instead of.
I
trying
agree
to
with
make
that, James.
Instead of trying to make our enforcement order a improvement project, which it really shouldn't be, it should only be.
No, just restoration, no,
Right.
but I just want to spell out the restoration so that it's clear enough for the applicant that they do what we want to have done. If it seems clear enough by what has just been stated, that's fine, but
We have pre-existing imagery. We know what it's gonna look like. It's gonna match the rest of that bank.
Bank.
and you're suggesting keeping the road go at the base of it until springtime.
Yeah, until it's been
So
accurately
that if
stabilized
the,
with vegetation.
yeah, the straw will help hold to a certain amount, but that's a steep bank. And who knows what's gonna happen this winter.
And all that material's readily available. It can get done sooner rather than later. I don't wanna keep doing the back and forth of different meetings and waiting weeks and weeks.
Agreed.
And then we're gonna hit frozen ground and we can't do anything until March anyways.
Or won't come, huh?
Right.
Any other comments from commission members?
So in summary, he's gonna fill the hole in, pack it and protect it.
It's gonna go back to what it was, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that clear enough, the applicant?
Whatever you want.
No, I'm just asking, is that clear enough? Because
That's
that is. the
clearer,
reason.
that's
Okay.
clearer.
Clearer, do you need more clarification? Because
Well,
we,
no, but before but you wanted a plan, you wanted to, going through meetings that.
no, I don't think we wanna go through any more meetings. We wanna move this along, so if it's clear enough to you and you're gonna act upon it, telling us that now at this meeting, which we're discussing the enforcement order and your reaction to it.
We will have
the
a
response
response.
to it. Okay,
We'll settle on,
I
after
think-
photos.
I think some afterward photos that you submit to Hannah would be great after you've done, so she knows it's been
We'll
done.
visit and.
She will visit too, but then she knows it's been done, so she can make the visit after, but also, that we anticipate that this would be done between now and you tell us the time frame because you're the one doing the work, so that we all agree on a time frame because that's the other part of the enforcement order.
Within the next week, I think
Okay.
we get it done for you.
So Lou, how much did you disturb culvert on the other side of the road?
Nothing.
The south side you didn't touch?
No, we actually found that
That was, that was.
just by removing some vegetation, just moving it aside. It was very
The side that was visible.
by ground, by covering, not dirt. Yeah,
It was
exactly.
observable.
Okay. Just a
Dan?
point, just one thing maybe to clarify, Beals and Thomas said they observed 2 culverts.
Yeah,
I don't think they actually observed 2. There was discussion that there was likely 2. We scoured that south
I
side.
saw your
I only
responses
found
on that, and I know who's
Yeah.
comment on that in the past. I would have to ask Beal and Thomas why they think that there were 2, because at this point in time, nobody else has seen evidence of it, and if they have never seen it, it was narrative or somebody's told them, hey, there's always been 2.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen.
So we'll try to get that clarified in the
Yeah,
next.
well,
That's essentially, I think, what happened is someone.
yeah, so
referenced
I was out
it.
there with Beals and Thomas during the site visit, and I think when we were talking, we saw the other culvert, and then there was some water trickling down the one side, and we thought there might have been a culvert under there, we couldn't find it, there were some rocks on the south side. Then maybe a culvert was like on the other side, buried somewhere under there. We kind of did some digging around. We maybe thought it was there, and that's what they kind of went with, and then we determined later on that there was no culvert there.
In that same area you've been
Yes,
speaking.
yep,
Okay,
yep,
all right.
yep.
All right, yeah, so, that takes it up. Any other comments? Okay, so I don't think this requires a vote because we were just discussing the enforcement order and whether the applicant will be responding. He's indicated he will respond. We've got a scope, it'll happen the next week for the timetable.
Do we have to extend the time frame? What was the time frame on the initial?
Well, the time frame on the initial was to have a restoration plan by the 15th and then do restoration once, like within, I think it was 2 weeks of whenever that was approved. So if this is kind of.
15th of November, or was it October? Of October.
Yeah.
So he had 2 weeks from his instruction at that point when it was approved.
Yeah.
So we would need.
So he has 2 weeks now.
So we have to amend that.
Or do
We could amend it, or I'm not sure if, or just not act on the enforcement of it, if it's gonna be
At this
happening.
point in time, it would still be a violation if he doesn't do the work, but he intends to do the work, so
Right.
we don't, okay, so.
What would be authorizing the activity within resource area though?
I'll also
Just-
add,
I guess
minimize
voting on-
impacts to the resource area when he's restoring. They added the vernal pool.
Yeah, he said he's gonna be able to do it from the road.
I just wanna make it clear.
All the seed and
Yeah.
erosion control,
Just
that's
wanna make it
5 foot.
clear.
Yeah, no.
So let's talk about that, Lou. I see it that you could bring the material in and fill the hole from the road,
Yeah,
compact it from the road.
correct.
You don't need to enter the vernal pool.
Except for the sedimentation barrier at the bottom.
That's fine. That's.
But that's a question.
So,
All right, that's what I'm just clarifying, yeah. So there would be
Now-
some-
We would never in the vernal pool, other than that, we try to work from the, but the erosion control that's there now is not in the vernal pool. It's not even in your,
Yeah, when you exposed the actual pipe,
yeah,
did you clean the pipe at all?
yes.
Okay, so do we want him to fill the pipe again?
What,
I don't think it's necessary once you get all the earth around it.
that's what the board.
Yeah, I think if it's covering the
Good.
whole.
It just
whole-
presented it, because it was plugged. It's not now.
Now it's.
Yeah,
plugged
We
back.
shoveled,
You don't expect that to be like
Yeah.
a safety hazard without that material
no,
putting positive pressure on that culvert.
I think just the initial, maybe foot or two of the culvert was blocked, and it's always been a void under the road.
Oh, I was thinking it was all full.
yeah,
No,
no.
you could look in the other side and actually, we put a tape measure
Like,
in
we
there.
put a tape in,
It
it
was-
was go
it was-
10 or 12 feet across, we knew where the end was.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it's your plan to remove that at some point.
Yeah, it's ultimately in the
It'll
way.
eventually collapse and rut the
Yeah,
road.
we don't wanna put a new roadway over it, certainly, it would be removed, because we have to install a water line, it's just in the way, so.
That's down the road.
But yeah, that's for another day.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, just the one last thing.
The one last, okay.
I'm
your
so
first last.
sorry. Just reestablishing A4, because that's the one closest to the wetland, and that flagging is no longer there. So there's A3, A5, and there's no A4 anymore. I couldn't find that.
Was that, when did you go out there? Cause we just,
I don't think when I was last out there getting the flags, I don't think, I can reestablish that, but that's no
Since,
problem.
since the uncovering of the culvert.
Oh,
went out
I
there,
see.
You couldn't find, when I was looking to see where the boundary was.
I think,
Fine.
Yeah, we can do that with these.
So,
Sure.
yeah, we can establish that, yeah.
That was it, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine, it's good to get that clarified, because that biking is important. Okay, so we're going to, at this point in time, it looks like, continue to just not act on the enforcement order that is in place, because the applicant is gonna respond. That happens, and the enforcement order can be withdrawn down the road, literally. And, if it doesn't get done, then we'll still have an enforcement order in place. Is that good for the commission? Okay. Do we don't need to vote or anything? So we're just gonna move that along. Okay, so you vote that. I just want to make sure you were in the room to hear all that.
Just the continuation.
So we're just gonna continue, the continuation. I will accept the motion to continue this hearing for notice of intent for Blackstone Street to the evening of December 10th at 7 p.m.
I think.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, James and Aaron. Pam.
I
Don.
Aye.
I,
Aaron. Steve. James.
Aye.
And we agree to step out from
Sure,
Nicole,
yes.
so we will skip her vote at this point in time, just have an abstention for her since she's temporarily absent. And we otherwise have a unanimous vote.
I'm sure the minutes reflect that she was present during the
She was
meeting.
present during the meeting, but just absent for this vote, so temporary. Thank you.
So it's, putting the tires back into the vernal pool is not part of the existing conditions. Right, just
There's some
asking,
tread left on them.
just asking.
Huh?
They're vintage.
Thanks for your time.
You could probably sell those.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Nice
thank
job.
you. Thank you. Take those and so.
Those are facts.
If somebody might want them.
People use them as planters for front
Yeah.
yards and soon those.
For those of you who are in the room for other hearings, thank you very much for your patience. This has been a bit longer than we wanted, but these were fairly involved and or delayed hearings. Move right along to the next item, which is the new meeting request for determination of applicability, RDA, for 43 Fox Run Road. Applicants, representative, please come forward to the table if you're here. Removal of 2 trees within the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. Brian Elms from 43 Fox Run Road is the applicant. I take it you're Brian. You are Brian.
Yes.
Oh, thanks. Just for the record, they can't see you necessarily in here on the microphone. So you had provided information about taking 2 trees out that are in the buffer zone, but fairly close to your house, or one of them is, I guess, of the 2, correct?
Yeah, one of them, I'm guessing is like 25 feet-ish, give or take.
From your
Yeah.
house, not tall.
Is that from the house?
Yeah, not the tree height.
I'm guessing it's 60 feet tall, give or take, and
Okay,
4 or 5 feet up from the base, it splits. And where it splits, it's all rotted. And it goes up a little ways and it splits again. And
is the tree dead currently?
no. I bought the house last October, so I've been, this last year was my first winter. And basically the first snowfall, which wasn't much, weighed down the branches, bouncing off the roof. I was very concerned. And the way the tree looks, if it falls, it could either hit the house, hit the deck, or hit all up the cars in the driveway. So I desperately would like to get it down, just for safety's sake and everything else. The tree that's further away, I don't need to get that done right away. I'd like to get it done maybe a year or two. But
And is that one, you describe that one if you would?
that one's also split, but doesn't look like it's in danger to any houses.
Is just for clarification, the pictures that we're seeing there, that split tree at the bottom of the 3 pictures, is that the further away tree or the closer tree that's got the rod and so forth in it?
That's the one closer to the house.
Yeah, the one to the bottom and the one to the upper right
these two
is
ones.
closer to the house.
Okay, and then the other one on the left there is the further one that's away. Is that
Correct.
tree dead?
No,
Okay.
it just looks tired.
Tired too, it's a lot of work being a tree, no people don't think about it. Okay, your proposal from Sharon is for both trees?
If I had a choice, I'd pick the one closest to the house.
Well, no, but I understand that, but.
It is for
they-
both, technically, yes.
Okay, so, I mean, it's your choice as to whether you want to ask for both trees to be removed at this point in time, approval for both trees to be removed this time, in which case you would have up to 3
Yeah,
years.
he put the 2 because it covers the 3 years.
Right.
So
Right, so you can then, you don't have to do both immediately, but.
I would have to
we've
come
got-
back to you guys to get it done.
If it was, no, not if you approve both and your proposal was for both the trees and you can have them do it any time you want. If we approve both, then you can do it anytime within 3 years from the time that we get the approval. After that, you'd have to come back if you delay it longer than that. But, you don't have to do both at the same time right now. It's up to you financially, you're paying for it, so.
I would expect that this price for Sharon is for the two in one visit, where if we separate.
That's for one,
Yeah, they just.
Oh, that's
It
just for
says-
one
It
tree.
is described. Some significant vines on
for
it.
2,500 for one.
Okay.
You sure?
Well, given Sharon's prices.
Says remove one large red maple, left hand corner, remove one at the top of the driveway.
Yeah, it does appear the scope that even though it has a 1 next to the tree removal, that the description does describe 2 trees. One
Okay.
at the top of the
That's how I
driveway,
would-
so you're getting the, for 2 large trees like that, that's
Yes.
probably a pretty good deal.
You have to bring in his large crane to do it.
Yeah, bring it up over the roof, and he described that in the, something in the narrative there.
Yeah, just confirm with them, because like Steve said, they might charge to mobilize twice. Like
Okay.
they might not honor this 2,500 if they have to come out to the property more than once.
Okay,
Right, so if you're prepared to pay that for 1 tree and you're getting both done, I'd do them both as quick as you can.
They're clearly taking 2 trees down in this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so, all right, so, questions from the commission members for the, proposal or the request for, RDA?
I just want to
Candy?
say how nice it is that Sharon Tree Company notified their client
Right.
to reach out to us.
Yeah.
Actually, I had 3 estimates and they all said, we think it's wetlands, this is a smart thing to do.
All three of
Good.
them did.
Yeah. So it's-
company should do.
That's what they should do, and that's good to hear that they're going, okay.
I don't really.
I learned something new that day.
I'm curious what Nicole thinks of.
What Nicole thinks of the trees?
I mean, these pictures don't,
Leonard?
I can't make an arborist determination based on those photos.
Hannah's pictures are better.
Slightly better. I did
I wasn't sure if someone was gonna, someone from the commission was gonna,
Yeah,
Look into it.
Hannah is the, agent usually goes out for these quick things, if it's a more extensive or complicated project, sometimes other commission members will attend, but it's some, this.
And I'm a
seems-
certified arborist too, so sometimes I like to get actual visual of the tree.
So let's make sure it's not
oh,
barking
nice
up their own tree.
there. I don't know if you saw those.
That looks kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
It goes pretty down here.
I'd be going out on a limb a little bit to say that tree doesn't look too healthy.
Unintended?
These are,
Not
these
specific.
are these are big maintenance too. They've hit their service.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah.
Definitely.
My
was
whole
leaning
backyard's trees, and since I've been there for 1 year, I've witnessed 2 trees falling, and I've heard the third,
Oh, wow.
so,
Our neighbor
too many
farm
trees.
is a long way.
All right, are we good?
I'm just making sure that nobody else has any
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, I have no issue with this. This seems fine to me.
This is a simple one.
Okay, I'll accept the motion from someone. You all know what to say, come on.
I'll make a motion for a negative determination, issuing a negative determination and on the tree removal, which means that you can remove the trees and issue no determination on the wetland delineation.
So
Second, the lack thereof.
So just for the applicant who's looking at the puzzle,
Oh, yeah.
means, so this is where saying no is a good thing to you as applicant, means you don't have to go through a more complicated application process and notice of intent with forms and fees and so forth. That your request to determine if this is is applicable for needing that is a no, so that means you're good to go with the scope you provided. In addition, the no determination about wetlands delineation is, we think that the area of the wetlands, the bordering vegetation, the BVW bordering, vegetative wetlands, or resource areas are clear enough so that we don't need to go out and get involved in determining where those lines are and again, involve the process. So those are 2 good things, that are being made in this motion.
It means that we're not voting on the delineation
Right.
because there wasn't one.
Well, you're actually correct, yeah, there wasn't one, but in this case, we don't feel one is necessary as well, or we would have said something else. Okay, so, having heard the motion, we look for a second, somebody?
I second it.
None, thank
Yep.
you for the record. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, Pam?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Marion?
Aye.
Steve? Aye. James?
Aye.
And Mike, aye. Unanimous vote, so that means you are good to go. Hannah will,
Get to that information soon.
if that information, so just be in touch with her, and thank you for coming in and appreciate it. I hope you get them down soon so that you don't have any worries over this winter.
I can call them tomorrow, no issues, or should I wait?
21 days.
What's that?
Oh, I mean, I'll probably get it out to you next week.
Okay.
So,
Within a week or
Just
so,
for
I
the
think,
paperwork of it all.
So, sounds good. All right, thank you for coming in, appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Patience.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Long night.
Thanks for doing the right thing.
Waiting.
Yeah. All right, next item on the agenda is a new meeting RDA for 180 Payne Street, removal of 2 dead trees coincidentally from New England Country Club area. Brian Madden. There's Brian online. Whoa.
Welcome back.
That's a bright green in the background and looking a little pale there.
I'm at the site right now.
Okay. Welcome, Brian. So we got removal of 2 dead trees from New England Country Club. Only 2, huh?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Not that I'm
Good to see
basing
you.
this on any previous experience there in New England Country Club with trees being cut.
So are they already removed?
Yeah, good question, Steve. Is this a asking for forgiveness rather than permission or what, Brian? We're giving you a hard time because of the location, not you personally.
Yes, I understand.
And
Yeah, so these are 2 dead ash trees that are on New England Country Club property. They're pretty close to the property line, and if you want to pull up that tree exhibit, they abut 160 Payne Street. It has a single family home. They're pretty tall. There's been some dead limbs that have fallen on the property, and it's an imminent safety hazard. So we're looking to cut the trees down. You can see there's an ample amount of vegetation around. In the last page, as part of this PDF, there's a exhibit showing the location of the trees and the flag boundary of BVW that immediately abuts. These are pretty close to the wetland boundary. There is a leach field for the house in the backyard. So the crane's going to be set up in the driveway and/or front lawn area, and then they'll just be cut and picked over the house, and then surgically removed, keeping the stumps in place and avoiding any disturbance to the surrounding vegetation. But
the 24 and 28-inch DVH, I think you said in the report. How tall are they? Just curious.
Oh, they're close to 60, 70 feet in height.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's some big ones, and they're gonna go soon.
Okay.
Well, the Emerald Ash Borer has done a number on all the ash trees, so I have
Exactly,
no problem
yeah.
taking these down.
Okay. Since they are just outside of, but close to the BVW, bike there, but they're going to be doing it in a non-invasive manner. Any other questions or comments from this group? Pretty straightforward. Pam, any comments, questions?
No, I mean, I trust Nicole's opinion.
Yeah. And I think the methodology is going to be sound, and if you went from the driveway or the front yard and reaching over. So that's good. I'm sure they've got all that figured for crane length and stuff, and we'll tap on top of the roof of the house there.
Yeah,
Well,
Sharon
all right.
Tree is gonna be doing the work.
Yeah, they've got the big crane.
Motion to issue a negative determination on the tree removal with no determination on the wetlands.
Seconded.
Okay, we have motion second. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. James.
Aye.
Steve. All right. Ariane.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Nicole.
Aye.
Pam.
I
Okay, unanimous vote. So Brian, you are good to go. About the quickest,
Thanks.
easiest approval you've had here in a long time.
Yes, yeah.
Are we gonna be seeing and hearing from you anytime soon? Do you have, things going on that neighborhood that you're standing in, sitting in? The golf course?
Possibly.
Okay,
We'll
possibly.
see.
It'll be a nice Christmas present.
Yeah,
gosh.
Christmas growth. We have no more meetings this month, but we do have, one in December. Correct.
Well, it won't be in 2025h, but
Okay.
All right.
who
Well, you
knows?
have a
We'll keep
happy
you.
Christmas and New Year and Thanksgiving and all those
There
good
you
things
go.
too. Thank
Well,
you.
it's good to see everyone.
Yeah,
Take care.
Stay well.
Take care.
Thanks.
You too.
Okay.
Good to see you.
I love.
Okay.
I love the trees.
Okay. We have continued hearing for a notice of intent, Lakeview Avenue, 65-17. Construction of a single-family home within the buffer zone to BBW. Quarry Development LC is the applicant, and Seth LaJoy is the representative. And
So they did request a continuation, but they did get back to me this time, so they are working on a.
Dare I ask how long ago they got? Or measuring in 60-second increments
I don't know
here?
what they called them today, but
Okay,
they are working on it, and we talked, 2 weeks ago too, when I let them know that you were looking to potentially close out the hearing. They're working on a nitrogen aggregation loading plan, so potentially gonna
Some
be,
additional property.
yeah, so it might involve some additional property, but, the scope of work should be staying
The
in
nitrogen
this
loading just-
area, just about, or moving over a little bit.
Nitrogen loading was planning board?
For septic, yes, yeah,
So it's health
that'll be board.
health related.
Yep, yeah, so they're just kind of waiting on that. He said he was gonna get me something by Monday, so hopefully we should have a revised plan going into December 10th.
Okay, so I'll accept the motion based on that information to continue the hearing as the applicant has requested to the evening of December 10th.
So moved. Second.
Second, any discussion?
Was the nitrogen loading problem due to Board of Health comments or concerns?
Title V,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right, 10, 7 PM. Okay, so we have any discussion questions? No? All right. Pam,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Marianne,
Aye.
Steve, James.
Aye.
All right, all in favor, it's good. Yeah, let's vote. Thank you very much. Okay, so I can pass that information along to staff, but they got the extension, so it's a 10.
75 bleach.
Okay, next item on the continued hearing is notice of intent for 75 Lakeshore Drive, construction of retaining wall within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. Leah Holstrom is the applicant and Shing Wong is the representative. There's both.
He's online.
He's online and you are here. Thank you, Leah. We had left this that we were going to be, we're waiting for a DEP number?
Yeah, so we were waiting for a
Did I see
DEP
one?
number and we just got that this afternoon.
Oh, this afternoon, because I
Yeah.
first saw something and I made a note.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
Last
minute
I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, I could have sworn it's
Yeah, it's like 105 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a
No,
DEP
I sent
number.
them last week with that
Yeah,
nudge,
same.
but
And we needed that in order to be able to close the hearing. I think all issues were covered in the last hearing. DEP 105, right?
yeah, so there were some comments
Oh,
related to
DEP.
DLSF. Not sure how you want to handle it, if her consultant would like to mention anything or.
Forward that information on.
Yeah, they
They get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gives it to everyone.
So we will defer to Shang. Would you like to respond to the DEP comments?
Yes, I reviewed the comments. I also reviewed the FEMA flood plan. So technically, all the proposed work is 14 feet or higher above the pond level. So the FEMA's flood plan called the pond as Zone A, which is a flood plan, but they don't have a specific elevation defined under the DEP Wetlands Protection Act. So you can use either observe the maxima water level, or you will have to calculate it. But this is like a pond, it's controlled by overflow dam. So the water won't get much higher than whatever normal high water. So at this point, I don't feel that's that much relevant to what the project at this point. If we are doing anything in the water or close to the water, it's probably would be considered relevant.
Okay. Was that the only comment?
Yeah, and that was the only comment, and my note was just potentially, I mean, we could note that in an order of conditions rather than trying to have them calculate that, because it really is so far up gradient and
And
away from it.
There's a house in between
Right, like
the flood source
Well,
and
Yeah, that's a technical response, but it's practical.
So
and I could see having that noted,
Right,
like
yep.
maybe
would that
I
satisfy,
revised plan with that noted.
would that
and
satisfy DEP for?
I would say
Okay.
so.
If it would, then I'm fine with that.
Well, DEP did request them to try to meet the performance standards for bordering land subject to flooding, but with the comments that, I mean, it's the base flood elevation is essentially mean high water of the pond, which is much lower than even the house structure.
Did you say 14 feet?
Yes,
Your estimate from the current pond level to where the work is going to be done? Is that 14 feet, the number you were referring to?
yes, correct.
Okay. So 14 feet seems like a lot for it. And in an area that is controlled by a flood control structure, meaning dam at the other end, yeah. Okay, I
So
think,
is he being required to update the drawings?
I don't know if
I
being
think we're just asking
required.
for a note on the drawing that notes the comment he made to us about the base flood elevation. And how it's essentially not because it's controlled by a flood structure in the pond.
So it's documented.
Right. So even
So
if,
we
even if
would
that flood
receive that
structure,
as an as-built?
I think we could just approve and issue the order and then have that as a contingent of issuing the order itself as having an updated plan with the note.
And sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
if I may, if you're looking on the plan, we did specify, but the water level is basically at the property line. I don't know how the property line was defined. I think it's a water edge. So, it's almost like in the property line in the middle of the river. If the river changes a little bit, it will change. It's technically that flat plan is just at the property line, at the water line. We don't really, it's not really on our property. It's on the pond.
On not river, you just mentioned river, let's change, but the pond.
Yeah, pond,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so, I think if we have clarification, clarity between what, as James has mentioned, and you've already mentioned, saying that we have a little bit of narrative to put in the comment section for the order of conditions. I think that would satisfy, and we copy DEP on that, in some way or whatever, get back to them, or
They'll get the order.
they'll get the order. So as Hannah said, I think that's, since they asked you but didn't require you to meet the flood control plane standards, whatever. I think that that's a reasonable response, and I think that if they have an issue with that, they could get back to us and or you. But I think that's a reasonable request based on the realities of what we're looking at here, as opposed to, as Don said, a technical interpretation they just may have just thrown into the works.
Well,
Just
it seems like the biggest concern they have is marking out existing resource area on the plan of record. In this case, BLSF was not marked out on the plan, so including a call out saying mean annual high water is
on the plan.
the base flood elevation because it's controlled by an outside force of the dam structure.
Right. So you're suggesting the revised plan mark that?
Just with a note, yeah, I mean, it should take 5 seconds.
Not drawing one. Is that clear? Sorry, you're hearing that okay? What we're looking for? Or would you like?
So in a way, the surveyor has a water line kind of surveyed at the bottom of it. He didn't call it out, but you
Does he have an
want that.
elevation for it?
Yeah, let me see the elevation.
That's what we're looking.
Right, but we need to, but DEP's comment is it should be called out as this type of, it's not just the surface water, it's also bordering land it's the base flood elevation for bordering land subject to flooding.
Just making it clear that there is in fact another resource area there. So if in the future they're doing additional work out there, it's not, oh, that's confirmed. So just making a note to say there is bordering land subject to flooding that wasn't necessarily confirmed.
Nothing
by
else has to
this.
be drawn on the plan. It's literally
Just
just
a
a
note.
call out to an existing line that's on there saying this is also this. Exactly how he explained to us, just written out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we can leave that to be done between Tseng and Hannah
Yeah, I'll just put it as a condition.
As a condition.
revised plan that
and
explains
revised
that.
plan. Okay. All right. Based on
Yeah.
that. any
Okay, it's
other-
for, right, it looks like to me, we said edge of water, or we can put approximate BLS, the base flood elevation, because we are not really having much higher than that. It's not like a river. This is a lake controlled by a dam. They cannot go much higher.
Right, I think that's what, you should note that it is the base flood elevation for bordering land subject to flooding due to, and then mention the dam structure.
Okay,
So it's
So-
clear to everybody, because the dam structure is not on your plan.
That's
So
correct.
having it as a call out kind of solves everybody's issues.
Okay, yeah, the elevation is probably 220. You can see the water, edge of the water was kind of, per the deed was actually marked as the property line. So in a way, it's the BLSF it's offside, but it's near the property, but we are not really getting any close to it. The elevation is just maybe she doesn't know, but here, this is a very unique situation that the water level is controlled by a dam, which doesn't verify, that much, fluctuates as much as like a river, so.
Right, okay, just so that we're clear on the narrative, that'll be added as an order of conditions. Hannah will work with you on the language of it, make sure we captured it as we've just discussed in the meeting so that we get the right terminology in there. And that should satisfy the DEP portion of it. The commission, I think, doesn't have any other issues about this particular project. We covered everything pretty much thoroughly last time, in the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I read the draft. I think it covered everything, including the membrane, everything is in that.
Right.
So I think I'm happy, or I think it's covered every discussions and adequate.
Okay, let me just check with the commission. Hang on. James?
No, it was
It's something else?
not
Okay.
really, yeah.
Okay, all right. Any other comments, questions from the commission before we? Okay, so you have something that will be prepared for the next meeting, maybe to sign?
I
Because you have to,
actually have it,
You just have
but
to vote to approve.
yeah, you have to vote to approve it.
but vote to approve the order of conditions and close, but the question is, do you want to add those things we just talked about putting in there, or just leave that as contingent upon?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can wait and send it out to you and you can sign it electronically, or
You have
just
the sheet
based on,
next to
I shared with you all of the proposed
Right, everything,
conditions plus this one section. And if you want to sign tonight, subject
and
to,
somebody can make a
that
motion which
condition.
says subject to that
Yeah.
final comment being made.
yep,
All right, so I'll accept the motion from somebody from the commission to do that.
We'll move to issue an order of conditions, including the conditions spoken about tonight.
Second.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Pam,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Steve, James,
Aye.
Marianne.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous vote, so you're good to go.
Thank you.
We'll get the order of conditions to keep in touch with Hannah to get that, and once we've got that, do you have to go ahead to within, I think you have to give the abutters a chance to respond, right? Or is
There's
this
an
not?
appeal period.
yeah, there's an
Yep.
appeal period. Once it's issued, they have a 10-day appeal period.
So
But-
technically, somebody has an issue, they get notified that this.
Well, they don't get.
They don't get, but if they pay attention to the meetings and watch so forth and have an issue, and they come forward in the next 10 days after you receive that, then we'll have to respond, but otherwise, then you're good to go.
Shouldn't be an issue.
Shouldn't, probably, I don't think anybody
We're
needs to
not
hear about it.
Everything-
If they would have-
Really upset
If they
about
were gonna do it, they would have done it already.
It's just a question, we supposed to record the order of condition or or the commission to, will record it and we pay the money, I know
Oh,
sometimes.
No.
No,
You guys would need to.
You do that, we don't, we'll forego the pleasure of recording it with the deed registry and let you take care of that for your applicant as a
Okay.
representative, if you wish.
Okay, yeah, when
But
we receive
do
it,
that.
yeah, when we receive it, we'll make sure that, I think I will, I'm sure, Leanne knows too, so just go to the register of deeds, record it and get the receipt or the recorded order back to the commission as a final.
And I'll let you know.
Yeah, Hannah will be-
Or I can mail it to you, whatever is easier, so.
You can keep Hannah posted
It's
when
ready,
it's done.
and then you can either come in the office, grab it, and, you good, or I can mail it, so either way, just let me know.
When you let me know, then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, good night.
This public hearing.
We have one more. We have one more line on the line.
Huh?
There was a-
No,
This public hearing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You-
Well, it's issue, yes, so we will accept the motion to close the hearing with the notice of intent. And
Issue an order.
we did, we already voted, or should, we just didn't officially say close the hearing and order. We could have done both in the same motion, but I do too. So I'll accept the motion to close this year.
Second, aye.
Wow.
I moved right, he seconded.
James and Steve, thank you. Just for the record, because somebody is taking this from the recording, so you may get confused. Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, so we're voting to close the hearing, just Pam, if you're wondering, officially, so we've done it right. And Pam, you can start it.
Aye.
Don.
Aye.
Nicole.
Aye.
Ariane.
Aye.
Steve. James.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Now we've closed the hearing, so you're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So what I was gonna say was funny now that we're done with that, the DEP analyst that wrote these comments is my former agent of the Uxbridge Conservation Commission. So I saw her name and I thought that was.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
Yeah, she's
Small
the-
world.
Yeah.
The new.
Have a nice night, Shane. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
I gotta call her. I'll next one say, hey.
When you said my.
Okay, next item and last on the official agenda before we get to other business is a continued hearing for notice of intent. 07 Farm Street, construction of a garage addition within the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. Kim Matrano and is the applicant and Land Planning Inc. Bill Helsing as the representative. Come right forward, gentlemen.
So bad, we probably should have done this one.
Yeah, well, sometimes we like to have an audience.
I don't see Bill more than my
We should be better about.
You didn't see me sleeping though, right?
No, that's not yet.
We'll have a rating system, Bob. You each
You
vote
stayed
who
awake
they
the whole
put
time.
which ones go for this place, right next to it. And we'll aggregate votes.
Like, I go to so many commissions. I feel like,
Sometimes I was not on,
Not
like,
like
that's
that.
a space.
We should be more like that.
No, I had like a buzzer.
Yeah.
Like a
Goes off.
timer? Well,
Yeah.
you used to have a timer.
I
Remember a little timer set?
Timer once or twice, but.
We need one that like does it automatically, so we don't have to set it, you know,
Yeah,
like every like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but some hearings we need to get.
With a shot clock
Well, yeah,
behind us.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Go ahead, so where were we on this? This is continued hearing, so what was left to be determined?
So we were just waiting for a DEP number. We got it. There was no comments.
Okay.
You know,
So we
and we
wait.
got a revised plan that has
Oh, we-
the signage.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Monumentation.
I put in that
Yeah.
note, I looked there were conditions, and one of the things down the road, we potentially should help the applicants, when we require posted bar signage or the badging, that we indicate about how tall the post should be, because we just say posts, 3 posts in this case or something, but you can put a 6-foot post in, you can put a 2-foot post in, the second one would not be good, the first one's probably a little too tall, but it's not 4-foot standard. What's that? Don't say eye height, because I'm taller than you are, so you're gonna be 2 foot above. Yeah, well, probably a standard like 3 or 4 feet. Hannah, I know, knows the number. Bill's saying 4.
Like for, everyone can see.
I'm all for that. Okay, so we will accept the motion to close and issue, do we have, it's issued with the order of conditions that has been provided. This hearing for the notice of intent for 307 Farm Street.
So moved.
Second, and we are both closing and issuing order of conditions in the same motions for efficiency. Just save you guys another 30 seconds of sitting here for.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so, any other comments that I need to ask? Okay, Pam,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Ariane,
Aye.
Steve, James. Aye. Okay, unanimous vote. Thank you, gentlemen, for your long wait and short.
Honestly, couldn't have even sat down.
I thought the first two were gonna be fast. I was like, well, not the first two, but I
Oh,
thought the next two were gonna be. Yeah, we might. That's tough.
Now you're
Thanks
Do all the
for
easy
sticking
stuff
around.
first, yeah.
for 2 hours and now you're jumping.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you for your patience.
Stuff like that.
Excellent.
Just a little.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
First, because we lost, the,
Do we know one of these people?
yes,
Yep.
Light Street file, no.
Oh, the Central guy.
100 Lake Street
Yeah,
notice
zero,
filing.
but I think they have. Okay, 100 Lake Street notice of violation, you guys, want to come up? Please.
You need the last one.
You're not the very last one, there are a couple of other business items, but we won't wait, we won't hold you up for that, since you're last one in the room.
Hello, everyone.
Appreciate your patience, so Hannah, since all I have is one on NOV, I'll let you start process and then have the applicants and. For the people here?
Yeah, so I issued the notice of violation. I had gotten multiple calls about some cutting done on the back of the property within 100 feet of Jenks Reservoir. I sent the notice in the mail, and I don't think it even made it to them until I was driving by and I was able to talk to someone on site. Did a short little site visit. He came out on site and talked with me, and then I set up a meeting with multiple commissioners just so people could get.
Just show of hands, how many people made it?
Three of us.
Yeah, good representation, thinking, I wasn't able to, but I was appreciative of you guys making it.
Do you have existing pictures of it, what it looks like now?
Yes, so I put a Dropbox link in,
When?
that was today.
The last thing on the board.
Yes.
Monday night was when we did our site visit.
Just away from the rain.
Yes.
I know,
So I can share my screen.
By the way, my name is Tony Corey. I'm Uncle Tony for him.
Okay.
And
I don't know what the connection was.
I'm here for more,
The center of town.
for moral support, that's it.
That's
And I
okay,
know what's going on.
that's fine.
So this is kind of when you walk onto the property along the side of the.
So are we coming in
fencing
from
is
Lake
there.
Street side or from Pulaski side?
Lake
Street.
Street.
Right.
You come in from the driveway,
Okay.
and then it might be easier to start not with these photos, starting with the. Violation. Lake Street is kind of over off, you can't see it in these photos, but it's over,
Yeah.
over this way towards the street. And then the, driveway comes up through here. And then you come into the property here, and then you go down slope to the water.
Jenks is on the left there.
And Jenks is all on the left, yes.
Okay.
Yep, so, and it's pretty flat along this whole top portion. And then it, is fairly flat up till about here, and then it just drops off, into a fairly steep slope.
And where is the green portion of the wetland edge, where's the property line on that side?
Right along the.
It is
that
the same,
edge
okay.
there, Yeah,
That's good.
yep,
That's
yeah,
good.
just about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the property layout. So the fence around the existing yard before this is like right
Up
here.
there, yeah.
Yeah, so that first picture that I showed you was just kind of, we walked in through here, and then we were just looking that way
Okay.
towards the cut trees.
You took them all as videos.
Harold, what do you mean?
They're all HEICs.
They're showing up as pictures for me.
Does say each, you
Like
see at the top.
live photos?
Image.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's because you have an iPhone.
Rest
yeah,
photos.
just. But,
Whatever, as long as we can see them.
yeah, so that's kind of that flat portion up top. Adjacent.
How far
the
to the
yard.
left is Jenks off the screen or just on the edge of the screen there? On the
Yeah,
left?
so it's around, that shed is about 100 feet from the river, from Jenks
Jenks.
Reservoir. Not exactly, but about, we,
Mhm.
ran a tape.
Yeah.
And it's about 50 feet from the base of the slope to the top of the slope, and then about 50 feet into the yard.
There's a mulch berm that runs along the edge of the property on the Jenks side.
Recently installed or is this old?
Yeah, right there.
So it's the
From
mulch.
the trees that were cut,
Trees.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially the whole area was forested, and there was some,
On the other side of the mulch too, was
Yeah.
not just the one side, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, while we're on the subject, it looks like their next door neighbors installed a new, dock.
Well, so this, just the clearing involves 3 properties.
Yeah.
So there's 2 additional neighbors that, 1, need to be notified of a violation. And 2 should probably be part of the restoration conversation.
Yeah.
Because it also involves their properties, it's not
So-
just like.
In this shot, we're looking at the other two houses. you're
One
talking
of
about?
Well, the other one house, so this
The-
is the subject lot right here.
Okay, so where's the third property owner beyond that person?
On the other side, yeah.
Street.
Oh,
If
okay.
we go,
If you look at the mulch mounds.
Yeah.
that way.
Oh, this is where the mulch.
The pile.
So it's the other houses next door.
Yes, the house is like.
But they've also
300
done
feet
clearing,
Away from the.
but they've
from
also
the
done
owner,
clearing.
But there's been a bit of clearing that extended onto their property.
So the clearing went into other people's properties?
It was,
Done
correct me
by
if I'm
them.
wrong, it was like a neighbor agreement that you
And I-
already had equipment there and you were.
I
gonna-
don't have any agreement, but
Yeah.
they did different agreements with the guy that was there.
Oh, so the guy made those agreements,
Yeah,
not,
no.
you didn't coordinate with your neighbors.
Can I give you a little background if you don't mind, because I'm there almost every day with him. Mike, he just bought the house. And he's a newlywed, he got 3 years old daughter. And one of the tree between the fence, it fell. And hit the fence, the white fence, a little bit, you can see it, the guy, they witnessed this. And behind the fence, on that side where the water dipped all the way down, there was a lot of trees dead. And, sometimes she liked to walk around and stuff like that. So for a safety reason, he really didn't know, what he's supposed to do. He hired a company. And they came in and he told him, clear the front because it's like so dense inside, a lot of dead trees.
Do you have the name of the company?
What's that?
One-way services.
One Way, where are they from?
I think, Franklin, I think.
So he assumed, they know the rules, they know all of this, and he told him, I just wanna make it safe for my kid.
There's no.
And his wife pregnant one, again, and so. So he removed a lot of dead trees and the rest, he told him just clean it up and.
Well, guys, it was really like dodging bullets every winter. My daughter's outside, I'm here, you can hear the trees, and it just falls down. It was really pretty bad, and I really didn't mean to do anything wrong. I really did not know that I needed a permit for this. Had I known, I would have been here. Honestly, I'm not doing anything commercial there. I don't plan anything benefits or anything out of this. I just wanted to make my property more livable, that's all.
Yeah.
What's the, smashed up structure on the property?
Was his
The
man-
old shed, pretty close. It was like.
Oh, the shed,
If you hear my wife literally calls me almost every day in the winter time, say, I was walking outside and a tree fell. And I was walking, and my wife likes to garden, she likes to be outside, my 3-year-old daughter likes to be outside.
It's up, or do you have any, maybe not a valid point right now, but it'd be interesting to see how heavily forested that was in that same area that's now so clear.
The
It's
entire,
You can see
Yeah.
with aerials, I mean.
Well, the aerials.
only the
That
backyard
first picture
wasn't.
you
That
looked
first,
at
yeah,
showed the majority of it.
Yeah, and but it's unfortunate that this is so close to a resource area, Jenks Reservoir is a resource area, and that this, in addition to compounding, is a very steep slope, which now I will ask the question, when they cut all those trees that were on the bank, not the flat part, the bank, were any stumps left, or did they
Yes.
grind them out?
Yes.
They were all just cut to the ground level.
he cuts, you can see some of them hollow from inside,
Well, we're not,
No, the
we want
stumps,
the
the
roots and the stumps left. in
ones
ground.
Yeah, yeah,
on
it's in
the
the-
slope, yes,
Yeah.
The company ground down the ones that were off.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured on that
portion
part,
of
yeah, I
it.
can see that, just the dirt, but.
I don't even think they can, I
on the
don't know
slope.
if they can make it.
Yeah.
Either what?
I
How
just don't
far-
understand why the
They're
slope
like,
was cut.
oh,
Well,
Remember,
so,
we-
yeah, we just want to get a little clarification, the question's just been asked,
cut a tree.
the flat area was close to the house. How
Yes, sir.
far, about 50 feet or something from the house, was the flat area out there? That's the area your daughter, wife,
Yeah,
that's where most of the trees are coming down. I know that, Tony, you mentioned that some on the slope, on the
Yeah.
other side of the fence, where was the fence, right along the top of that?
No,
Drop off?
this is the slope here,
Yeah.
That's the house here, the fence is here.
Somewhere in the,
Somewhere in there.
in the
And
heavily grown area.
Yeah, where you see the shade.
What
there's
if
the-
happened with
it
him,
was
he
here.
was cutting on the, like, I think some of the trees fell or something like that, and then broke other ones that he just took them out. That's what I think, I'm not 100%.
So I wanna make sure on this, cause this is clear cutting. So you're telling me, you're gonna sit here right now that every single tree was dead?
No,
No,
no.
I'm not telling you that.
No.
but let me ask you
Why
a
would you
question.
remove them?
A dead tree that falls on another tree that falls down on the ground.
Well aware of how trees fall.
I'm sorry?
I'm well aware of how trees fall.
Yeah.
I think you are, but are you aware of a 3-year-old walking out there and a tree
I think,
falling? Are you?
let's just, let focus back in. I think what Steve is asking is, did you explicitly tell the one-way company to cut down all the trees? Did they do it on their own and you just got told after the fact? Or was it a combination of information, like they were telling you, I don't know how many days it took to cut all this stuff down. Maybe they did it in one day and you came back and this is what was done.
That's why it's
Maybe
important to have
multiple
a
days.
contract.
No, I understand. I did not have a contract. Again,
Right.
I made a deal with the guy. I wanted to take trees down. They're falling. I was just panicking. Literally before the winter comes, I really need to clear it.
What instructions did you give the tree company? Take everything down that might fall, take down only what you have to fall, it's all verbal, so you have to tell us what
I
was
mean,
said.
I did not have, I was like, I need to clear my property so that way I don't have any danger from the trees. This
And
is,
they
this was,
understood where your
this
property
was
was.
the deal. And then they
And they
walked.
So you're back to the point that every tree was a danger. That's why you clear cut.
No. Not
I'm
every,
confused.
you have good trees. and
Why
you have
would
bad-
you leave the good trees?
Well, I'm close to the house. I don't, no, you know what he told the guy, clean it up. I don't want that tree, and the guy, he did whatever he did. He was working.
Sounds like a lawsuit.
It's-
I was gonna
it's-
say, what
happened?
what happened is irrelevant.
Right,
What
what needs to be done?
we need to come up with the fact that this needs to be restored in the areas that are jurisdictional.
Okay,
And
can
then
I,
if it's a cost problem, I mean, that ultimately the property owner is responsible for that restoration. If they want to go recover those costs from a company that could have potentially done something that they did not give them permission to in their property, that's that's not us, that's them.
may I ask you a question? Let's say if we wanna plant a tree where this empty place. Is fruit tree allowed?
It has to be like native species.
That's later in the process. We're eventually gonna need a restoration plan. That's gonna have to be put together by
Yeah.
someone who's qualified to put together the plan. And then that person will propose the plants
Okay.
that will be needed.
So where do you get
to
those
restore
people
it.
from?
Like a wetland scientist, the firm that specializes in wetland biology. I don't think that we can recommend anyone in particular.
Yeah.
I think do we have a list of?
I mean, there's people that put out lists, so if people are looking for it, I just recommend searching, like, some search terms that you can search, or there's a couple like professional societies
a lot
that
of-
put out lists.
Okay,
So I have like
Can
a.
you give us a list?
Yeah. I
She can
can
give
send
you some
that.
pointers in the direction. Again, we can't refer a company because that's not a violation of all sorts
Yeah.
of ethics and stuff like that. But she can get you point in the direction, so you can start doing some searching. You'll find companies around. There are plenty of companies that provide wetland scientists. They would give you a specific planting plan based on a restoration that we're gonna require. It's not gonna be a tree. I can tell you that much. It's gonna be.
Well, they would also,
Fair enough.
more than likely, depending
Given-
on your contract with them or agreement with them, would also represent you in a situation like this where they are the expert, they talk to us, we talk to them. Ultimately, an agreement is made on what is appropriate for restoration, and then you implement it, like that's.
Just off the record, is fruit trees there? Because I was talking to him and his wife, I say, you can put fruit trees, blah, blah, blah.
Along, I would say, without knowing the vegetation that was there before, along the slope down where it drops off.
No, the slope is different.
Yeah, slope is gonna be restored
Yeah.
to as close to what it was before as possible, whether those pine trees or oak trees or whatever kind of trees, brush, shrub. Again, previous pictures, aerials, whatever may help identify, the wetland scientists can look at other trees that still exist further up and down bank. To try to match, they'll come up with a plan for that. You have to hire the
Also
company.
say that there are a lot of native plants that are, so like.
Like what?
Grapes?
blueberries, grapes.
Oh, we love the grapes. I love grapes.
Blueberry bushes are often, if it's close enough to the wetlands to be, you know, grown. Yeah, they'll recommend things that will work there because they don't wanna recommend a plan that puts stuff that will die. If you wanna ask them if they can recommend fruit trees.
Well, but let's.
You know,
it's also not
we
for-
wanna make it
that's why
right.
We have a
Right.
replanting requirement.
Right. So the areas that we're concerned about that are jurisdictional, meaning close enough to the resource area that we have the requirement to get them back to order,
Okay.
is what the wetland scientist is mostly, we're gonna wanna hear from them about that part. Other areas that you wanna do closer to your house that are outside of the jurisdiction area, that's on you, and fruit trees or whatever, gardens,
They
whatever.
also probably will want to restore it to the closest to the trees that were already there that provided a certain ecosystem service. Like they don't wanna like put all different trees that weren't there before in that area. It just doesn't.
The slope.
Is that the slope?
The slope and
Slope.
up, and beyond that to within,
Anywhere within 100 feet of that reservoir.
Yeah,
is
okay.
Jurisdiction with us. Anything outside of that, technically, we can't tell you. What
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do.
so up to 100 feet. If the
Yeah.
bank is 50 feet and its top is 50 feet, and then you get into your yard and so forth, that first
That's
100 feet
okay.
away from the Jenks is what shouldn't have been impacted without coming to us. And to be honest, we probably wouldn't have ever approved clear cutting. I don't think I've ever seen a clear cutting approval, but selective trees being taken out for dead, we would have probably worked with you on that, just for future reference,
Yeah.
not that it's no point. And we will be, as James pointed out, probably talking to some other neighbors because of it was done elsewhere. That's also a no-no, and we'll have to let them know that's a violation too, but anyway, you deal with the company for your property, and
Yeah.
there were separate agreements, it wasn't a unified thing, you'll have to figure out what.
So,
this all
but what
goes
kind of company again? I'm sorry, I don't know much about these.
Sure.
things. I apologize.
for. You'll be looking for
An environmental consultant like. us.
environmental consultants, specifically if you're storing Google searches and so forth.
Specializing in wetland science.
Wetland science. And or restoration.
Just wetland.
And a
What
lot of,
is-
lot of engine, like small or large engineering or surveying firms. Even if you talk, like if you know anyone that does that and you talk to them, they will often know someone else that can do
Okay.
that because they'll often
Mhm.
contract with each other.
And this place
They
is
just don't.
Bellingham.
Yeah, if you go on Google and type in environmental consulting services,
I'll pop there
something
for
like
a
that.
couple
I
of
know
these.
the engineer who left, we can contact him, he must know.
Like that.
Land planning, Bill Housing,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a company that's right on 126, just past the
Yeah.
mobile station there on the
Okay.
left. I mean, I know that's their office, because I go by it regularly, but I'm not saying recommend them, but that's the
No,
kind of
no,
company that
I-
does that, land planning, so land planner might be.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gets you started in the right direction,
Okay.
you're clear on what the violation is,
So I guess the other thing is because he would like to keep some of the clearing, so that would be
We need
notices of intent. So that would be, you know,
so, yeah, so a notice of intent will require somebody to help represent you properly, so you can get it done right. Again, same company, if it's a land planning company, may have services that they provide for a notice of intent to do.
Well,
Hey.
is that area that he wants to keep cleared even within our jurisdiction, or is that outside of the 100?
yeah, so he wanted to keep essentially to the top of the slope, right? Or was
Not
there-
necessarily,
Oh,
not
okay.
necessarily.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
at
I
least,
wasn't sure.
at least
Keep
we're.
in mind, the more of the 100 foot from that resource area that you can say, we agree to restore that back, and we're gonna restore that back and stay out of that 100 foot. The easier it'll be to get approval for a notice of intent for anything going forward. I mean, you
No,
won't
if
even,
it's-
you won't
if
even
it's-
have to do a notice.
That's what I'm, yeah, if it's all outside of that.
If you stay outside the 100 foot, you don't have to come back to us to do whatever you want
That's
to
fine,
outside.
I would
But
stay
you gotta be
right
clear
there.
on where that 100 foot line is. You can't guesstimate it. It has to be
No,
accurate.
Well, can you guys tell me exactly, because I measured it was probably, I would
That's-
agree with you, it was
You can
probably
get the
towards that.
environmental
spin,
planner
right?
for that.
That's where that consultant would.
Okay.
That same consultant will go up the 100 foot.
Yeah.
They'll, if they're doing their job, they'll make it clear to you where.
Yeah, they'll have to survey a plan, get us the plan to review,
Mm-hmm.
explaining the plantings or whatever other method of restoration there is.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, they'll more than likely delineate the line of that reservoir, which should be pretty easy for them because it's really just surface water. And then at that point, they'll have a plan in front of us that shows exactly the limit of our jurisdiction and where we can say you must restore.
But can I also add in one thing? On that slope, there weren't as many trees. You
As
guys-
on the
maybe-
top.
I don't know, maybe you can zoom in your pictures, but I know on that slope, there wasn't as many.
Well,
Well, if it's-
since they left the stumps.
Yeah.
that'll help.
They left the stump, so
Yeah, we counted them and there's quite a few. There
I'm
was
saying
more than I
like-
thought.
There wasn't like, what I'm trying to say is that there
Compared to
weren't
the top
hundreds
area.
of trees
Oh, here's the-
compared to the top area.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, but.
And then
Yeah,
I
you can
remember
see.
when I took the house on that slope, it was also full of trees that were falling.
Sure.
You know, this is literally when I first walked into the house, I was like.
What year the house was built? Sixties? No.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know.
So probably they did not touch anything outside since,
Well, down on the slope, they shouldn't have been, because that was.
down the slope, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why trees
illegal.
fall. We don't make you put dead trees back in, don't worry about that, you never find any dead trees to buy, so it's live trees. But they keep it proportional, the wetland scientist who does that will recommend a reasonable planting. We don't go crazy, but we do want to get it restored, and sooner than better than later, because while there is a mulch ridge there, who knows what the winter's gonna bring, and that does look like a lot of dirt that could potentially move in that direction, so.
That's important to
Yeah.
protect.
So that kind of brought me to my kind of last thing, like in between now and I don't know if we want to set a date to check back in with them. But also, you know, in terms of erosion controls for this winter.
Right.
And cell fence, something by the base.
Stumps left.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
but
you
that's
were-
still there, and there is one
erosion.
mulch berm, which that's definitely good, like that's definitely done a good
Especially-
job of keeping stuff up there.
Especially for the winter.
Yeah.
I'm looking
So I
at
wasn't
stumps.
sure if we wanted any more erosion controls in the meantime.
Well, that's a fairly wide 50-foot flat area that slopes slightly down towards the mulch berm. And that's a lot of dirt to, again, who knows how much rain we're gonna get and how much it'll wash and how sort of.
That mulch should absorb a lot of the
But
water.
I'm wondering whether we recommend straw or something just to be spread over the flat area, just as something to slow some of the water down at a reasonable cost. Just straw is pretty cheap.
No,
And-
that, I think the mulch.
The
I mean,
mulch
it-
is very
it's like,
springy,
it's a
yeah.
few inches of mulch.
Yeah, it's very
on
thick.
top of
You guys are on site, you make the call for me. I don't.
I
recommend-
honestly, especially, we're gonna have a few months of hard frost at
Mhm.
this point.
I think the
don't-
mulch is
don't think-
sufficient.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have an issue.
Okay.
You guys
Especially
on the
it's,
slope.
it's fluid. I mean, that's the thing. If Hannah makes a site visit and there's some erosion issue, we're well within our rights to require something else. But for now, I think it's perfectly fine.
Okay, and meantime, working on getting a restoration plan and
Yeah.
a notice of intent for, if you're gonna do everything outside of the 100-foot, then you don't need to do a notice of intent for us.
Yeah.
We would just continue to work on this current
The
violation
restoration.
and a restoration plan. And as long as you're making progress on that and keep Hannah posted, I've reached out to other scientists, we're getting proposals and so forth. I think that's good. I don't know if the commission wants to do anything more in the way of enforcement order or anything at this point in time, based on what we're hearing.
Let's set a date for when we follow up with. them.
That's a reasonable, that's a good.
How many properties?
Three.
Three.
We haven't issued the NOVs for the other two yet.
Might I suggest? It would be nice, we can't request this, it'd be nice if the same engineering company addressed the whole problem.
I think it would also save you and your neighbors some money. So it might be something to talk to them about.
Talk to them.
However, having them not yet received notice of violation from Hannah, I think you want to wait till they get the notice of violation, so they know they're in the wrong about something, before you go and say to them, hey, you want to split the cost on engineering fees? And they're like, what? I didn't get notified about anything.
Yeah.
Easier for us if this was.
I agree, I agree. It'd better get a consistent restoration plan
Inside
that's
the flat.
uniform to the same area.
Closer one.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it can be that if it's strictly restoration, but if we're having NOIs, they have to be separate filings.
Oh, yeah, no, separate filings, but the first thing to do is get the notice of violation from Hannah. When she's done that, and in the meantime, you can start reaching out to land planning firms. or companies that you find.
I'm gonna get my part done.
Yeah, start that part. So, and then you can tell your neighbors that, hey, I've got this company contracted, you want to split the costs, and you'll already have a
So
plan.
just to make things clear, these companies are gonna come in, figure out, you know, how many trees we're gonna have to, put back on.
What kinds,
What's
where they're gonna be planted,
What
where,
species and which area that.
they'll
walking-
actually specify tree here, tree here, tree there on a set of plans that they'll give you.
And they'll oversee whatever landscaping company that ends up actually planting them. They'll oversee them doing that, make sure it's
Exactly,
done correctly.
yeah.
And then, so like, I have to put back, if there was a pine at this spot, I have to put back a pine?
That's what they're gonna
Oh,
determine.
that's what they're
Yeah,
gonna do.
we leave that up to them.
Okay,
And
okay.
they're, these companies are reasonable, if you get a good one, then they're reasonable companies, then they should give a decent proposal, but that's what we review too, if it
Yeah.
seems crazy to us, they're asking for 10,000
No,
trees,
no.
and we're half the trees that we think they should, we'll discuss it with them, but they, finding that while at the same time, we will be very likely doing a notice of violation to the other two neighbors, since there was some observed cutting by commission members, so that's reason enough to issue that. And that will probably happen in the near future. I won't put Hannah on the spot for when that will happen, because she's a busy, very busy thing. So, Hannah, however, you might want to give the applicant here, or the representative, the property owners to it, a heads up
These
when that's
guys.
been done, so they.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hannah will keep you informed about where she is with the violations for them, so you'll know, your neighbors know that something's wrong with them, and then you can start talking at your own.
Yeah.
on that.
Well,
And then you got my number, right?
Yeah.
We'll probably have those to the neighbors.
Concentrate.
for the Next hearing, right? So we can
I would-
request
I
them
would
to
hope,
be
yeah.
here for the
We're gonna
next.
get them out next week, sometimes the mail.
But so in that notice, we request them to come to the, okay.
Well, in the meantime, we're gonna concentrate on his property. We'll take care of it, start tomorrow, we'll look for somebody and let him recommend. And after, if the neighbor wanna use that, we, he just bought the house, we wanna make sure.
We
He
understand
kept
that
saying,
you
I'm
did,
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I told him, you're gonna go in jail, matter of fact.
Right?
You got the bail money, you got the bail money.
Oh.
Mr. Corey,
Yeah.
are you still inventing things?
Yes.
Okay. What's
Yes,
on the table?
I just invented a thermal source. It can go down to minus 200 degrees Celsius. Just like that, we have patent on it. And I asked AI to name it, we name it Thermo X Pro. Powered by Corey Industry and the patent number. I
So
think it's gonna be all over the world.
what are you gonna try to make that cold?
Ice cream? I tell you,
The beers in his liquor store.
yeah, in the military and the aerospace and in the military, anything goes up, you have to test them under like room temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, minus 55, 125 degrees C. Now, I have a thermal source, I named it Eli. I got them all over the world, even the government of Israel, they have, anyway. But in the space, instead of minus 55, they go minus 80, minus 130, minus 150. I did a major job for NASA, and we use that. And this, you have, anytime you want to come in and stop, my office is
Last
about
time you
the.
and I spoke, you were doing something for Raytheon, I believe. Are you
I
still?
used to run the engineering for Raytheon for 16 years. I invented this technology. They call it the Corey box, believe it or not.
That's what
And,
you told me.
made in Bellingham, Massachusetts, right in the center. I had a division in San Diego, but I kept it for 14 years. Now we just have it, everybody in 1099. I'm very active,
Oh, yeah.
Who likes the West Coast anyway?
only in America.
East Coast.
And they pay back to the community and, we do a lot of good stuff.
All right, well,
Yeah,
we'll see.
so we, as been asked, what would you like to set for a time to come back?
Well, I don't know if do they need to come back or just I'll check in with them to see where they're at on the process?
I think it would be best as, cause it's, well, are we gonna do an enforcement order?
No.
For any restoration, you would have to do an enforcement order, but I can, get that
Well,
drafted while it's still occurring, like if they're starting to correct it anyways, like that can just be.
I think I'd like the restoration plan before we actually issue the enforcement, because then that'll give us the scope for.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Right. We're gonna jump on it quickly. Within a couple days, we'll have somebody and let them do this study. And we'll keep you informed with every step.
If we need to have you come back in, we'll just ask.
Yeah, ask
You
me
may call.
anytime you want.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is just a discussion. It's not a formal hearing. So we've discussed, and I think we're on the same page.
So you're not,
Thank
you guys not gonna vote like everybody else say I.
Come on.
I-
Please, we vote.
Well,
I will accept the motion to let these two gentlemen leave for the evening, having been the last attending. All in
We
favor?
tried to get,
Aye.
we told you to come late because we knew.
I
know.
know.
I kept telling them, I hope,
Well,
we
sounds like
probably
just done
very
fine now.
refreshed
Okay.
talking like this when I work with you. And the other day, fight.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, this first time I sit in a meeting like this.
Oh, it's entertaining.
Told you before.
Bring your popcorn.
Yeah.
Anyway, anybody would love
Okay.
to stop in my office. I'm above the liquor store
Right away.
with the balcony.
We can
And
stop by
I
the
show-
liquor
I show you
store.
what we
We're
do.
gonna buy us, who's our coffee?
I have a hole from upstairs down.
Well, go down on that.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And we'll keep in touch, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
If you don't do what you call me, I would grab it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving right along, we will be skipping over the SNAP discussion since, Mr.
He did send me a follow-up email and he just said I was
Well,
here, but it looked like you guys were a little bit buried, so I'll try.
Is that three?
Oh,
is that? Yeah.
That will give me some time to review his arborist report too.
What was his name?
Dan Kelly.
Damn, thanks, man. I read this
Wasn't
stuff, yeah.
wrong.
I was interested to see, I don't know if you all saw on the portal that the recommendation from the expert he got was to cut trees at the top of the hill and leave his on property. And if it looks bad in the next year or two,
Oh, yeah, I'll
Take that
take a
out.
look at that this week.
but cutting three trees on another person's property because they might fall on the road, or maybe one might fall towards his house, but not hit his house, is an interesting recommendation, since that would involve what's his name, the developer, who's joined the development up there?
The old Warren.
No.
Yeah, wasn't he the old?
No, this not a.
No, the young guy that,
I'm curious what this guy.
yeah, the developer, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but
Not,
anyway.
not relevant.
Wait,
Yeah, not that relevant. Anyway, just the recommendation. Yeah, he was the one who said, I've done all I wanna do, Dale, and that was his attitude, but if these trees fall across his road and his development up the top of the hill there. Number one, Dan Kelly doesn't really have a say about it, he's not happy about it, it's not on the property. And number two, it's gonna impact that developer whose name escapes me. I know he did another development I've dealt with him over the years.
Does it work?
No,
No.
but it doesn't matter, the developer. Okay, so moving right along, because I know you all want to get out of here. 380 Lake Street violation update.
Yeah, so that was just, I still haven't made it out there yet, but she let me know that they had flagged it. One of the flags got torn off, so I don't know if they've come back and added one of them back,
Is it the
but
whole property?
yeah, that's the full property. And I also, before scheduling something, I didn't know if anybody, because it seemed like some people were interested, so I didn't know if I should try to schedule it when other people could attend.
Just to see the flags?
Yeah,
No.
I didn't know. Okay, all right.
Was it kind of what we assumed? It's really
Well,
just.
that's what I still haven't gotten a chance
Oh,
to get
if
out
you-
there.
if you-
So I was like, might as well throw it out if I.
mean,
am gonna-
If you want someone there, just send us a text and those of us that are
And just
available.
see.
Or if no one can go and you go out and it looks kind of like what we thought, like
Yeah.
that tow slope
Yeah.
type of thing. then-
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And then at that point, just probably have them come back in to wrap everything up, or
Yeah, that's what I was hopeful. Yeah.
I still don't know where we're at.
we kind of left it as just
Yeah, someone.
get it flagged and then we'll go from there.
And we'll see what it look will, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said the pool, and this is the one we all went out to before the other day,
Yeah.
and there was flat lawn and,
Right.
but it was the driveway side that I thought was the only thing, so that's the flags you're looking at
The
along the
question, the
driveway.
question was whether or not they'd have to pull some of that gravel and fill back.
Right, okay. Nobody was suggesting that they take all the gravel out, but you restore the slopes or whatever, okay, all right.
Michael Burr. Is that
I think he's the property owner.
Might be the property owner, I mean.
Because he was a tree warden,
That
I
was
think.
that was the original.
Yeah, the guy that came in who was then butting heads with
It's
them
at the
and,
tip of my tongue.
yeah, it is too, and if I look back for old minutes and waste time here and digging up, nobody wants to do that.
Much I.
OSRP, final draft vote on letter of support. So you also notice the open space recreation plan, they're coming up to us in December.
I would move to vote and approve.
A nicely worded letter of support for the.
It's 10:30, I don't like it.
I wanted to debate it. Sentence 4, page 2.
Okay, even Pam who's home wants to end this meeting, I'm sure. Okay, so.
I'm like dozing off. Let's.
Yeah, I haven't heard any snoring, but I was
He's gonna
wondering.
vote with us.
I gotta mute it, that's good.
I'll
Okay,
second that.
So we have a motion and a second to draft a letter of support to the
No,
OSRP.
the final draft is already done, right?
It would more just be to issue a letter. of
Issue of letter.
Yeah, we'll
thank you.
issue the
Clarifying
letter.
that.
I can write something up. for
Right,
Mike.
right, yeah, I'll take a look at it. So, okay, all, any discussion? No, okay, all in favor?
OSRP?
What's that?
Open space.
Recreation
Recreation
plan.
plan.
Recreation.
And I have a copy if you wanna look at 2017's. This is the last time it was done, so
Well, you guys might find it. a little
I just
bit.
have it in my bag.
Yeah, no, it's not yet. Yeah, the new plan
I
is.
put it in the Dropbox.
Oh, I know that. I just happened to see this in my pile of papers.
Oh, you had the old one, I'm
I
like.
had just showed what's done before and that was the year.
You
Okay.
read that? It's so bad.
Oh, stop. Now, that's old days, old
Why are
people.
we issuing,
Is it
who are
open
we
space,
issuing a support letter to?
the committee that?
The open
wrote
space,
that?
committee, because technically it wasn't written by the Conservation Commission. So just getting the approval from.
And other boards are doing this
And
as
other
well.
boards, we're getting one from the planning board,
Park.
MAPC, Parks Committee, and the select board eventually on the 24th.
And that'll be helpful because this plan does need to be approved at town meeting, I believe.
No.
No, it doesn't. That's right.
Just by the select board, and then it
Select
goes
board,
to
that's
the
what-
state, and it has to be approved by the state, and I'm hoping that that will be done before 24. It'll at least be to them by 2026, so that we will be all good for grants in 2026.
Yep.
And that was my goal.
Okay. Good. So any other discussions? Okay. All in favor, Pam,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Don,
Hi.
Marion, Steve, James.
Aye.
All right, okay, now vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the hard work that went
Thank
into.
you very much to
putting
the
that
group, and
together.
we'll thank them again in
Yeah.
December too, because are there gonna be some reps here from that group that day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for-
I anticipated that, because you said, get ready. they're
Yeah.
coming.
Yep.
Okay, then, the minutes,
just push the minute.
well, I looked at them, I thought they were
Oh, I
fine.
thought they were
I
good, okay.
didn't, let's just, I didn't read.
They're
it.
pretty basic.
I'm on it as vice chair.
Are you actually?
No.
So I remember you saying you had some edits and we didn't get a chance to
That
talk
was it.
about them, so I didn't know if we should, oh, okay, it's just that, okay.
Okay, any other comments on them, or wants to postpone them for another week or two? No, okay. All in favor of approving the minutes as so amended by Steve, tonight's meeting, I'll take a motion for that, if somebody wants to make that.
So moved.
Steve?
Seconded.
Don? All right, no discussion, Pam? Minutes?
Aye.
All right, Don?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Marion?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
James? Aye, okay, yeah, vote, thank you.
I didn't read.
Arcan,
Me either, I still
I
remember.
love the acorn.
Arcan Park cleanup on November 16th.
If anybody wants to come hang out on Sunday at Arcan, we're gonna go pick up some trash and do a little trail walk.
And
There's
get a little
a,
wet because they can be racing.
on a Sunday, there's an electrical line. That's also, well, not electrical line, but Mass Electric owns an easement there and there's already kind of a trail there. And I've been
Yep.
talking to them because somebody from the historical commission wants to get some signage out there because there's a cool little stone arch bridge, which is now the cover photo for the OSRP plan, somebody from the historical commission.
That's cool.
No, the archway, who owns the archway?
Mass
Oh, that is cool.
Grid.
Yeah, and I've been talking to somebody at their real estate division just
Are
before.
you spearheading this cleanup?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to send details to the commission, both to member,
We're just
where.
gonna, we're just gonna be there and bring gloves.
Go to Arcan Park and bring
Essentially,
gloves.
at 9
At
on
9.
Sunday.
9 this Sunday?
Yeah.
I'll go.
Sounds good.
Bring your raincoats.
Let's talk, because I can forward that to Grid's environmental team, because they'll probably jump at the bit to try to
Yeah.
help.
They seemed into it. I was talking to somebody from, they directed me to somebody from their real estate division.
Oh,
They
you'll
were
be-
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to make sure before we started
Last,
looking at it.
last item is new potential violations identification.
Send out an email.
Send out an email with it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's just, other business, new potential violations identification.
Oh, everybody.
We have to educate the community.
Right.
There's a few, right?
There's just like a bunch of backlog things that I just haven't gotten out.
We
because
send out like
there's
a
been more
Canva notice or
pressing
something
stuff.
about call us if you think you're gonna get.
We dropped pamphlets from Sunny.
Yeah.
So we need to
I
find a
don't-
way to help identify, people should be brainstorming, I guess you're looking for ideas on how to potentially notify people to not violate in advance, so that you don't have as many of these things.
No, no.
Catch up
Yeah,
on.
I was just saying, if we had time at the end of this meeting, I was gonna follow up with you guys on
Because there's a-
people
there's a-
ongoing ones.
Are there pressing ones that are
No.
urgent?
Most of them are small, so it's just like, I have not gotten to them because things
Some-
like
some of them-
100 late.
I feel bad for you for apologizing for not getting to everything in town all at once. You've done that a couple times in the last couple of months. I'm like, no, you know, we know you're out there busting your.
There's a lot going
Yeah,
on, but
a lot
yeah,
of
so
fun.
there's like lower level ones that have just been kind of simmering while I'm dealing
Well,
with this.
I mean, some of them, in my opinion, we probably wouldn't even issue. enforcement for. It's just like a fix it and then they fix it.
Right, so are you aware of some of these, because you've seen them or?
One of
because-
them I reported to her.
Oh,
already.
okay, so my request to you as chair to administrator agent, without compare, as you are, is that you tell us the least stressful way to relay that information to us. If it's like a bunch of low-level things that you won't want to get to for a while, and you want to just list them and say, here's just an email for your information, I'm aware of them in case somebody brings it up to your attention or you see it. Here's the address, and I'm gonna follow up on that eventually, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I could just do like a running list.
Whatever, send us an email every once in a while on the portal, whatever way you want to do it.
Shared document, but like an Excel document that's like on our Concom portal that you could just update with like a status.
Whatever works, whatever works. Just let us know. You're well enough organized and on top of stuff that I feel very confident that works for you.
It's like,
To let
I
us
have
know.
a list in my brain.
Yeah,
and
putting it
then
on paper.
Yeah.
places.
Like
Putting
do
it-
it on a Google sheet or
Making
something.
it, oh, next
The
agenda.
more or less
oh,
you
next
have-
agenda.
sticky notes.
I have
It's not the have to
Steve will
do.
be there every
Just
day.
remember, making a list doesn't mean you have to do it all. It just means you won't forget it.
Getting done.
So
Motion
that's
to
it.
adjourn?
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn from Ariane, but nobody else wants to second it. So we're.
Seconded
Pam, I'm gonna give you
here.
that one because I heard you. And you're gonna, and you now get to go to bed. Okay, so, all in favor, Pam,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Steve, Marianne,
Aye.
No,
okay.
no, I'll change to I.
Nicole, for the record. All right, yes, vote. Thank you, everyone.
Takes back.
All right. Good night,
Thank you,
guys.
Pam. Have a nice
Bye,
night.
Pam.